everybody. How is everybody doing this evening? Back again with another Chit Chat show. Yeah, let's see who we've got in. Let's see who we have in this evening. We have the Plain Truth. Hello, what ho? Helvetica Bold, nice to see you in. And Matrix Media, good servant, nice to see you in, my friend. And Amanda Young. Don't worry about the the mistake there, it's all good. We have, who else do we have in? We have Paul Keeling. How's your photography going, bud? Have you managed to capture anything great recently? If you have, perhaps email me, I'd love to see it. Page 42. Bootus Guard, nice to see you in. AJ&M, Seek and Find, and Ryan Etherton. How is everybody doing this evening? How is everybody? Listen, hey, what do you think of the new setup? Do you think the design is better? Do you like this kind of design? Let me know. I just decided to mess around with it before I went live, and I thought, actually, I kind of like this black background and just things like this. It looks less cluttered. Let us know. Tell us, do you think it looks better this way than the original way, how I've been having it before? So I'd like to get your opinion on that, actually. Right, let's see if anyone's turned up in Discord yet. No, still waiting for a couple of people to pile in on there. Right, so what I'm going to do, I don't know if you've seen this video actually, but it was one that I put out earlier, and it was basically me some years ago. I mean, it must have been 9 or 10 years ago now, doing all these kind of different challenges, etc. And yeah, I had some fun back then. So I'm gonna put this on again. It is really quite cool. I'll talk you through it actually. Here we go. Have a listen to this if you've not seen it already.
Right, this is my next nomination. I've been nominated by Tom Stewart.
Oh, that's a bit low, isn't it? Let's get that louder up a bit. So I'm saying this is my next nomination.
Right, this is my next nomination. I've been nominated by Tom Stewart. I'm going to drink tequila, sambuca, Jaeger bomb, double whiskey and coke and a pint. Right, here we go.
Oh.
Lemon, mate. You gotta use the lemon.
Lemon. That was so funny. I did actually lemon. I did lemon, trust me.
Yeah, no. Alright, you go for the shots first.
Brave man.
Yeah, mate. That whiskey's gonna be.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Oh!
This was so cold. This was so cold. I mean, this was like, oh, yeah. I mean, I think it was a double whiskey and coke, but it was straight out of the tap, and it was straight out of the pump, and it was so cold. I mean, the drinks I was drinking, and then this pint was freezing. Wow, talk about brain freeze.
Right, now the pint.
And the pint.
Get ready for the coldness.
Come on, Shane. Expect brain freeze.
Expect brain freeze. Trust me, I got brain freeze.
Right.
Yeah, it's cold, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Keep it coming. Come on.
You got it. You got this. You got this.
This is when I could drink.
That's it. Oh. You gotta finish the rest now without a break.
Come on,
Do
Shane.
it.
Come
Start
on.
half of it.
It's called a neck nomination.
Go,
Come
go,
on.
go.
Brain freeze.
No sipping.
Go, come on.
Come on.
That's it. Keep going. Ignore the cold. Ah.
I just couldn't manage it. I couldn't manage that. That was so cold.
That is in one now. That is in one.
Come on.
That's it. There we go. Right, nominate. Go.
I nominate Claire Marsden, Kelly Clayton, Michael Thornhill.
Oh, that was the first one down. Wow. that was a lot of alcohol to consume in about 3 minutes. But in fact, it was less than 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Yeah, that was quite a lot. But you know, had a good night. Here's my ALS challenge. Now, in case you don't know, ALS is similar. Well, it's the same thing. It's MND, but it's in America they call it ALS. Here it's motor neuron disease. And in case you didn't know, my mother, she has motor neuron disease, so it was, it was somewhat important that I actually did this. I had a bit of fun doing it too, but it was to raise awareness of the condition. Anyway, here we go. Thanks, Dave, for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm accepting it, and I would like to nominate Tom, Brett, and Ruben to follow me. So, here we go. It really was cold as well. I mean, you can see the ice. I mean, it's all splattered on the ground here. I mean, I didn't mess about. I put a lot of ice in it and I left it to get really cold. Wow, yeah, it was cold. So cold I just dropped the bucket. Yeah, it's cold. Oh, and I like this one as well. This was a good one. So, in case you guys don't know, I'm actually a pool player. Well, I say I'm a pool player. I haven't played pool for a very long time. But in my prime, when I was playing pool, I was very good. Very, very good. And I'm using an old pool cue on this particular game. But the idea of this was we'd put some shots at the end of each of the, all pockets, 6 pockets. Well, there were shot glasses. And the idea being that once I'd potted a ball in a particular pocket, it would nominate for one shot, and Tom's got them all lined up on the table behind with a pint of beer as well. So every time I potted a ball, he would remove the shot glass from the pocket to say, okay, well, that pocket's been cleared. And the idea was obviously to get it on in all 6 pockets. I don't think he expected me to pot all 6, one after the other. He kind of loses it at one point. But yeah, it was pretty cool. And check out the cue action. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We're next nominated by Ruben. So what's happening is Chit can take some shots from the table. I'm going to take some shots from there. 4 goes in. I'm going to take the shot wherever the cup is. That goes. So we got that fine. Yeah. Alright. Ready for it? Alright.
Boom, first one down. He's going to remove the shot now because I've got it in that pocket. Here we go. He's on his 3rd already. Listen to him in a minute. Slow down! Slow down! Boom! Finished them all off. Oh, yeah. Now it's his time. Yeah, it's quite funny. And of course, I made him drink the pint. Oh, he got brain freeze too. It was a good night. But honestly, back then, yeah, we could drink and we could party and we had pool all the time. It was good times, actually. I enjoyed it back then. It wasn't very good for the liver, obviously. But, revisiting these old videos, yeah, it was quite cool, actually, seeing... I still had them. I mean, I'm surprised they were still there, but... yeah, good times. I enjoyed them. Right, let's see if anybody's joined me in the Discord right now. Nobody's joined me in the Discord. Well, let's see. I'm available in the Discord if anybody wants to hop on in. In the meantime, if anybody's got any questions for me in the chat right now, I'll gladly answer anything that you want to post to me, providing I can find... there we go. Now I can see everybody. Ali B, nice to see you, mate. Hey, J&M. Piss easy, ranty fella. You're not playing the game properly. I could have been. And I mean, this, like, I'm not even joking here. I could really have been turned professional at pool. I was that good. I mean, I had a rack of trophies at one point. I think I won about probably close to a dozen single tournaments and then doubles as well, leagues, stuff like this. I played it quite a bit. I was really good. I was probably better left-handed than most people are, right-handed. But I haven't played for a very long time, so God knows if I've still got that right now. Right, we are joined. Anyway, we've got Crow in the chat. Nice to see you. And Rob Keane.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good afternoon. I'm just in the middle of an oil change and a lower control arm job, but I'm here listening.
Okay, cool. What are you, Garrett, mechanic?
Yes, sir.
Cool. I just look at a car and go, it drives. I can go from A to B. That's about all I know about cars. Oh, are you sharing something? Let's have a look. See. Let's drag that over so that people can see.
That's what I got to do right now. I got to put that in that.
I mean, to me, that just looks like a lot of work. I suppose if you've got the right tools and you know what you're doing.
It's only 3 bolts, 4 bolts. It's no big deal.
Well,
but that's what I'm going to be doing. So I got to make some air tool noise, so I'll be on mute.
No worries. It's more skilled than me, though. That's for sure. I can't do anything like that. Right, who else has joined? Who else do we have in? Ali B, nice to see you in, mate. And Left Lane, how's it going?
Check.
Check. Oh.
Alright, I'll just be listening, Ranty. I won't be talking much. I'm just listening. I'm actually in my bed at the moment.
Alright.
Early tomorrow, but I'll listen. I just came in because you said there was nobody in, so I thought I'd come in, but now there's loads of people. So.
Yeah, people are piling in, which is cool.
Yeah.
So, has anything been happening in FE that I should know about? Anything new? Anybody got any gossip for me?
I could. Can I swear just one word?
Fire away, mate.
All right. I'd just like to say I've got a series going. Jose JG Gonzalez.
Oh shit! I think I better go back on there. Oh, where are we? Right, I missed that, Ali B. I'm sorry. I cut you off then. My bad. What did you say? You've got a channel going saying what?
No, I've got a series going now saying Jose JT Gonzalez is a wanker, and it's only because of his behaviour, his behaviour, hypocritical behaviour, how he stops flat earthers talking, and he interrupts them and he gaslights them and stuff like that. That was.
All right. Okay. Well, I haven't seen what's been going on recently. I have. To be honest, I mean, I have heard that Travis was a little bit pissed off with him and wants to boycott the show for some reason. So, I've missed what's actually been going on, but obviously something's happened recently, so...
Yeah, well, if you go and listen to it, but it's been going on for a while. It was kind of that hypocritical thing about not interrupting things and stuff like that, not interrupting people when he allows ball earthers to call flat earthers retards and stuff like that, but when flat earthers say something or whatever, or not even call, because we're quite polite actually compared to these idiots, but it's kind of hypocrisy. It's like that talk and everybody's allowed to talk and stuff like that, and it's not true. It's inconsistent.
You're right, Ali B. I've boycotted as well, and it's just because they're disingenuous.
Who's this talking?
Either they don't want to or they don't understand angular size change. They don't understand it or they don't want to understand it. I
Is that
personally
Rob?
think Jose is very fair. That's what I've witnessed. Jose is very fair to both sides.
Or would you? Well, I could make a video about that proving his last show there. Proved it. There, I think. Who was that was talking there?
It's left
Who
lane,
said that? Who?
Left lane.
left lane.
Alright, okay. Well, I suggest you. I would suggest actually you be a bit more open-minded. So I actually listen to, well, be a bit more critical of, how it goes. Maybe you're missing it. But I could make a video about it. I mean, there was a great example. I only listened for about 10 minutes. That's why I switch off, because it's like, someone was meant to be interrupting, but the person who was talking was a flat earther. The person who was talking, he was actually talking first, continued talking, and I can't remember who interrupted. Well, if you think that's fair, that's fine. But I would suggest open-minded. I'm not biased. I've got no horse and race at all. I'm just critical of all. I criticise flat earthers, ball earthers, the whole lot. Doesn't matter if someone's been a hypocrite, And to make that statement, that would suggest that maybe you're a bit biased towards it, or are you a flat earther or ball earther, or what? Or undecided at the moment?
Well, I would dare to say that he's not perfect, but I think in general he does make a fair attempt to be non-biased in the talk time, and he doesn't. I mean, I've seen him get all over. I mean, he kicks globe earthers off just like he does flat earthers, depending on the situation.
I mean, you don't see that very often. All right, he kicks George out, but that's an easy target kind of thing. That's easy. That doesn't really affect. There's not a
Yeah,
lot
George
of
is
people
retarded
like,
though.
yeah, but
It
not a
like-
lot of people. Not a lot of people like George and stuff like that. So he can kind of get away with that kind of thing. But if you go back and listen to, I can't remember who was talking. As I say, only listened to for about 10 minutes. But it was blatantly obvious. It was, I think it not Lemon, but it was someone else that was talking, trying to make a point, and it was totally like it wasn't that person interrupting it. The one that was against flat Earth or whatever was interrupting and pulled up. I don't know. You didn't answer that. Are you on the flat Earth side, or not about the side, but what stance do you take on this reality we've got at the? Are you more that it's a spinning ball, or what?
No, I don't go for the spinning ball thing, but we're on a slowly rotating planet. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well. I would suggest to yourself. I didn't want to say
Can you screw
presume
moving?
that you were. I didn't want to presume that you were a ball earther, but that was a kind of.
Yeah, Howard
I
can't
kind
prove
of
that he's
guessed
moving.
that. I kind of guessed that. Wait a minute. I kind of guessed that. But I suggest you go back and listen to our beginning of our conversation.
Travis!
Look critically at it. Look critic. Don't be biased. Don't be biased or anything like that. Look critical. And I think you probably, if you were honest with yourself, you'd come to the conclusion that I did.
Hey, listen, listen. I know that Jose's normally around at this time, so I'm sure that he'll pop in at some point. So I will ask him and just say, what's been going on, and see what whether he's going
No, but
down.
he's not going to admit that, Randy.
Well-
That's the thing. He's not going to admit it. But I don't want to actually, as I say, talk about it. It was just you asked.
Okay,
what
yeah,
was
that's fine.
happening.
Listen, what do you guys think of doing stuff on D Live? I saw Globebusters yesterday, and I know that they were streaming over there. The setup looked really good, actually. I mean, I have to say, it looked cleaner than YouTube. I was quite impressed. I mean, the last time I looked on D Live, the whole setup and everything just looked a bit tight, a bit shabby and a bit unprofessional. Now it looks really cool. I mean, have you guys got any experience of doing that D Live stuff?
I tried joining it.
To be honest, I've been sticking to Discord lately.
just on the Discord. Yeah, I know, but you know what? You know the censorship.
YouTube all that much either.
Couldn't you go? Couldn't you use Discord
real
with
people
DLive?
conversations.
I think you can. Well, I'd need to speak to somebody about it to understand how to set it all up, but
I'm pretty sure you can. I think DLive is basically like a YouTube. So it's basically just the website where people will go to watch your video, your live stream. So if you're live streaming your Discord to DLive, then people will be tuning into the Discord just instead of on YouTube on DLive.
Well, I know Globus has had 1,000 people watching him yesterday on DLive.
Yeah, but you got to think about your audience too, though, Ranty. I think, I guess my question would be, is there anything that you aren't satisfied with in terms of YouTube? Because
because and I'll tell you what I'm not satisfied with it is the fact that it seems that I'm getting censored quite a lot. In fact, all flat earthers are. We know this. There isn't many. A lot of people don't get the notifications. The people will come in, and some people say they got notifications, others won't. And sometimes a show will get 200 viewers. Other times it'll be sitting like this at 70 just now. It might go up. It might get to just over 100. But
share the show.
But Glowbusters, he can get his 1,000 on DLive because it's not censored over there, is it?
Well, I guess I would maybe try to run them both consecutively once or twice to see what happens, and see if you pick up any new viewers over in DLive if they're looking for live shows that are running and they're going to check out something new. See what happens.
Well, it's just to bring new people in with new arguments. I mean, the current crop of globe earthers that are putting the content out, it's shocking. There is
crap. It's the current crap of ballers.
Yeah, it's utter garbage. I mean, you should.
Wait a minute. Have you heard of this guy B-Ball for Life? He's putting out some good shit.
I was arguing with him in my Discord before I came on. It was retarded. The guy's like,
Randy.
Well, they're down to straight line is curved. Like this is how bad their arguments are.
You should play that clip that you took of him when he was was it B-Ball for Life? You took a sound bite off him and you were playing it over and over again. It was about a couple of weeks ago.
I'd have to dig it up. I've slept since then, mate. So
but that's what I'm saying. That was just quite funny how it was kind of pathetic. It was kind of gamma male-ish. Are you going to tell the truth? I can't remember what it was, but it was so funny. I thought, oh my God, it's someone actually just
we
said
should try and get him in here and go over some of his footage.
Oh, the guy was saying to me before that you need 100 foot. You need 100-foot wave to block a building in the distance that has 100 foot missing. And I'm like, I'm pulling my hair out with the guy, and that WS that's there, he's like, well, can you explain it to us? I explained it. Can you draw a diagram for me? I've just explained it. If you're below the wave,
I'm saying, but they need pictures, right? Because what you've got to understand, well, maybe you probably do understand, you get programmed through pictures and images, right? That's why the rumpus has to keep bringing up diagrams and stuff like that, because, oh, look, the images, because they're not able to, understand, if you explain something, whatever, if you explain something, you have to, the best way to speak people is if you build pictures in their heads. You have to build a picture that kind of understands. It's better drawing it out for them, because you can't understand if you describe, the car was red, it was 20 foot long and it was travelling at 100 miles. Oh, can you draw me a diagram of that, please, so that I can understand it properly? That's ridiculous, right? Is it not? And that's what they do. That's what they create, because due to the way they've been programmed, the way we've all been programmed to, what do you call it?
It couldn't be anything else, right, Ali? It couldn't be a ploy. Just all they're charged with at this stage is just to waste your time. So Rumpus with his diagrams will come along and to talk about the same stuff he talked about 5 years ago and spend 20 minutes on it if allowed.
Yeah, exactly, and then say, let me finish, or let's. I like it when Randy goes like that. When everybody, when the rumpus says, right, I'm going to do a diagram. Everybody's like, oh God. I just think it's brilliant. It's brilliant how they need diagrams instead of, hey, by the way, through words. It's all to do with the programming.
Well, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. It's willful ignorance and total misrepresentation. And I'll tell you for why. I was in the Discord having a discussion before with B-Ball, and he popped up and he said, "Can anybody show me an observation of a boat at 20 miles away?" I said, "From how high?" He said, 5 feet. I said, "What? So sea level then, basically?" "Yeah, show us a boat, all from top to bottom at 20 miles away." So I said, "How about 29 miles then?" Because I've got an observation of a boat top to bottom from 29 miles, right? So I posted the link to the video and I said, there you go, 29 miles away. And he took a screenshot of the sunset. and he said,
did anybody hear that? Oh, sorry.
And he said, half the sun is missing on the sunset. I went, hang about, wait a minute. You asked me to show you a boat. Set. Yeah, it was the glare set, yeah. And I said that to him, that was the glare set. But they tried to change the subject. Then I was talking a couple of days ago to somebody else, and I was saying, did you notice the new research that I brought forth about the speed of the outgoing and incoming tides will create a localized bulge that can affect what you're seeing, because the energy that's put into the tides in those motions going out and going in is causing the water to squish. Has to. And I was able to understand. And I was able to demonstrate it. I was able to demonstrate it when I did that observation just over a week ago now. No, but what they turned around and said was, the shoaling
go along with the curvature.
What? Who said that? Well, they turned around and they said to me, so what causes tides then? You know, it was total willful ignorance of the data. The data backed everything up that I said. It had moved from just dropping at 10 centimetres every 20 minutes to a sudden change to 20 and then 30 centimetres drop every 20 minutes. So it was a substantial increase in the outgoing tide, which then caused the blockage that I was not able to see the lighthouse. Whereas at 5 feet from when it was a dead calm high tide, I was able to see shore to shore. So it changed from showing this new reasons as to why you can encounter blockage with the tides to being what causes tides. Do you know what I mean? Everything's always changed around. There's never a direct answer to the new research that's brought up. You know, everything.
Did you hear that, Ranty? Hear that? I think Cleary, he posted a video of try thinking, having a conversation with, I think it was Kosho or whatever. There is a prime example of, well, go and listen to it, how the guy was, just what you said there about changing the subject. And the thing is, try thinking was shown.
It's the same every time, Ali. You'll see. You could go and you could do an observation of a different a building across a lake, let's say, and let's suppose the building's 30 miles away, right? And you're seeing, let's say you're seeing 3/4 of the building, but there's a quarter of the building missing, right? But you're seeing 3/4 of it. Now you shouldn't see any of it on the globe Earth, right? Globe Earth totally gone, right? So you turn around and you say, hey, we can see 3/4 of this building, and then they, rather than address that, they turn around and say, well, what about the bottom bit?
They did that with Morgo Lighthouse. Can you remember that with Jem Panda? Remember when you proved that was Morgo Lighthouse? Is it, we can't see the beach. It's like 30 miles away or 35 miles away. You could see the whole lighthouse. Oh, where's the beach? You know what I mean? It's that kind of, they're struggling.
All tactics. These are all tactics. A bait and switch tactic. And you mentioned Kosha there, Ali. He's an army man as well. serving.
they're all, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny though, Peter? I have to
As
agree with
B-ball
you.
for life is, right? Yeah.
Yes, the whole lot are. I mean, like the majority of these guys seem ex-servicemen, or they're still. And
Right.
I think it was you that pointed that out in the first place. Actually, you
So they're all
pointed out.
strangers anyway, Ranty. So what would you do in real life if you went into trouble with a genuine sort of heart about it to try and persuade someone like B-ball for life, and he came back with that sort of, you'd tell him to fuck off out of it, wouldn't you? Because you went into trouble and he won't deal with what you have to present intellectually or present an argument. He's not open to sort of change his mind. All he wants to do is seemingly waste your time and then just bait and switch, just move on to a different topic.
Well, that's
What
what
would
it
you
was.
do? You'd fuck him off, you know.
Well, that's
Get
what it
these
was.
people keep coming back.
He's filming in Hawaii. His observer height is just 8 feet, and he's filming in Hawaii. Right now, if you check the weather data in that particular time when he was filming, with the swell tide and everything like that, you already know. You don't even really have to be smarter than a 2-year-old to understand this. That the wave heights are going to be higher than his observer height, so he's having to look over the waves, right? And that's without even taking into account the shoaling effect in Hawaii, because if you look at how Hawaii, the land, how the topography of that land is, it's got a very steep incline all the way up. I mean, it's like a 1 in 9 slope. It drops off that much, right? So you've got all that perfect environment for big waves. That's why people go to Hawaii to surf and stuff like that. So he's there in these prime conditions for blockage, and he's trying to do an observation across this swell and the water and everything from just an observer height of 8 feet, and he thinks that it is a perfect example of globe proof. It is ridiculous, and
Spastic.
it's ridiculous.
Spastic, like.
But then he turns around and he says, "Well, there's 100 foot of the building missing in the distance, so surely that must mean that there's a 100-foot wave. Where's this 100-foot wave?" I'm like, now, he cannot be that stupid, so they must be trolling at this point. You know, they have to be trolling at this point, you know, because it makes you want to reach through the screen, you know, and say, "What are you doing?"
Don't get
involved. I kind of go with what Pete says, that we shouldn't really interact with these people because it makes it so obvious that they are.
This guy came on the scene and he said that you can go out your back with a normal, you know, average price telescope and see the American fucking flag on the moon. It was like I said, "No, bud, you can't do that," and he was deadly serious about it. And like Sean Hawkins and the water vapor, he had to later come back and retract. But these are the type of people you're dealing with, and if you don't learn sooner that it's an absolute fundamental complete waste of time dealing with them, because you'll always be brought back to square one considerations without any due consideration by them. If you don't learn sooner, you will learn later.
Yeah,
and that brings up a good question. Actually, let me just say it does bring up good questions. Any views on what does actually cause, or what may cause the tides on this flat stationary surface we live on?
Well, I've got a theory.
I've got
a theory. Let me express my theory. Then.
You don't have to get into that now, but you know.
I'll just it's just quickly. I believe that the Earth is the plane is actually sat on it, so it actually moves very slowly back and forward, or moves about, and that's what causes the tides. We're actually sat on a plate, if you want to say that. And
so the Earth does move, Ali.
Yeah, I know it does. But not spin or anything like that. It maybe moves back and forward, or a little bit. It breathes in a sense, kind of thing. You know, it breathes. When it breathes up, the tide goes out, and when it breathes down, the tide goes back. It's actually not breathing as such like we would imagine, but it actually moves. It expands and contracts.
What if we were floating?
A disc in that,
like a big. Would that make
waves?
Like
a disc in that scenario, Ali?
What did you say there, Pete? Say that again, mate.
I know someone has a token there, but I just said, have you the Earth as a disc in that scenario?
No, well, I'm an infinite planer, so.
Fucking hell! The infinite plane is moving up and down at the same time. But of course,
I never said it moved.
The infinite plane, Ali, that's going to be in a different position than.
But no, not really. Only because as I say, look, it's kind of hard. That's only my opinion. That's only my opinion. There could be loads of flaws in that, but I can see it as that way. I don't believe it's the moon that's causing the tides.
What if you had a huge picture, the what they call universe, right? Like the plane, quote, quote, finger quotes, is just water, right? Just massive, massive ocean. Then you take these gigantic land masses and put them in there, right? Now, depending on the makeup of the land mass, it'll be like an iceberg with the majority of it underwater, but some of it on the top. Now, if this big, gigantic thing is in the water, you're not going to feel it like floating or moving or at all. But like he said, that up and down, as it goes up, right, the tide goes out, and when it comes down, the tide goes up, and it's slowly floating, but it's so, just so gigantic that the relatively, quote unquote, the water moves, not us.
Exactly. That's how I actually see that. Yeah.
I told a story before about a retired ship's navigator, 25 or so years experience, and he thought the idea of flat Earth was stupid, right? But he did tell me that on open ocean, all tides surge from the north, and that tied in with what I was thinking at the time, anyways. Well, I'm sure we all are aware that there's something going on at the north, but a giant whirlpool has been mentioned in mythology or similar, and obviously, there's something continuously going on, something cycling, and we can all relate to the tides in that sense. So for me, it is down to movement of a source closer to the center. But beyond that, I definitely can't. Let me just say, Ali, an infinite plane, no, that I don't think we can wrap our brains around that, or even our minds around it. The immaterial
but the
thought
reason,
around it.
yeah. But you've got to remember, our brains have been conditioned to not to think that, or to find it. The point that you're saying, oh, I can't comprehend that. Well, that comprehension. Wait a minute. That comprehension is only based on what we've been indoctrinated by. Remember,
No,
even though
I've
we
left the
think.
indoctrination, Ali. We've left the
No, you
indoctrination.
haven't. No, that's wrong. See, that's wrong to say that. No.
If
Wait a
you
minute. Wait, let me finish. Right. That's a bit arrogant to think that. Every day we react in subtle ways through our indoctrination, right? Our worldview. No matter if we think we are smart and we've found the truth in that, there's little aspects of the indoctrination that still creeps in there, and you have to accept that. You can't say,
Well,
"Oh,
give me
I'm
an example
totally."
then.
What do you mean? Give you an example
Give me an
of
example,
what?
because we've left the spinning ball behind, and we're trying to venture in our own minds into what the
Yeah, but you're
nature
right.
of
Okay.
the place might be, right?
All right. For example, then, like weather. What causes the weather in your mind? What causes the weather?
Well, I mean, for me, it's all got to. Well, everything's connected. So listen, it's the same thing. I'm going to
Yeah,
go back
but
to
I'm saying, but
Aristarchus,
you're
Ali. Hang on,
but wait
please.
a
Let me
minute, dude.
answer. I'm going to go back
Okay,
to
sorry.
Aristarchus as my answer, right? But fundamentally, it's the passage of the sun and how it affects everything in its path, and the lesser lights then as well, and the ether. So it's all interconnected. But you
Oh,
were
so
talking. How do you give me an
you're
example
saying
of
that you know reality,
indoctrination?
though, Pete. You're saying that you know the truth and the reality of it, then. But
Will you
you've got
tell
to
me the
remember,
answer then? Tell me
I
the
can't. Well,
answer.
right now that's a ball earth thing. Oh, you haven't. My theory has to be. I have to give you another theory to debunk your theory,
You
even
didn't
though I
debunk
say
anything I said, Ali.
That's called
no.
replace
But
your
you're telling me to
theology.
give you another.
Yeah,
You're
but how
saying
can
you.
if
I
you're
have to give
saying
you another version, otherwise I'm wrong.
if I didn't say I was right, I have an answer though. What does cause weather? And I brought it mostly back to the sun within an enclosed system. So if what does cause weather?
Yeah, but you think you've got. I don't know. You've got
That's
a
fair enough.
change in pressure, the heat, the change of heat, or whatever it could be. But I'm. You understand? My answer is getting. I'm basing my answer on what I've been told about what the sun does, what the weather is, what clouds are, the whole lot.
Right.
You understand that, right? We
So
don't.
you got to
Yeah.
break away from the brainwashing then.
Well, that's the whole point. That's why I couldn't give you that answer. I couldn't tell
Well,
you
I
what
gave you an
causes
answer,
weather.
not to say that I'm right, but because I have plenty of thought behind the answer I gave.
Yeah, but how would that work then? And
What do you mean? How would it work? Something on a flat plane, something is obviously moving, rotating once per day. When we look up at the sky, as I said, Ali brings it back to the North Center. The roots of the tree of life, Aristarchus, the giant whirlpool, etc. So I view everything in those terms. Now, it's a big part of the weather as well. We forget about it. Rumpus and crew wants us not to think about the water in the atmosphere at all. We had a very humid day there the other day, and as you go down to the seaside or the ocean, whatever, you can't see very far because the atmosphere thickens up. You know what I mean? You can't see through the water in the atmosphere. But yeah,
Yeah, I
all of
totally
these things
agree
are
with that.
important.
I'm
Yeah.
totally with you on that,
The
matey.
sun is
I'm
the great
100%.
agitator. That's why the sun is
Yeah.
adorned so much. It's the great agitator. And I want to say something as well when we come to this stage of consideration. Is this Earth in a natural state? Because if it isn't, then natural laws have to go. The laws of thermodynamics have to go as they're applied to our natural world, right? So, you know, all of these different things, once you get away from dealing with the likes of Beepal or Rumpus, getting to the reality in our own brains of us trying to work our way through this in these corona-ridden times and paint some sort of a picture. The way you can give, let me just say, the way you can give some sort of a coherent account, at least to yourself, if not others as well.
But who told you? Who told you that the atmosphere was full of water?
Who told me?
Yeah,
Who?
science,
Well,
right? Science. You're
no.
basing
It's
your
not.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Your theory is based on what we've been taught.
It's piss and rain here, Ali. When it was humid the other day, right? You
Oh, it was
start to.
full of what? Did you measure it? Did you actually see the particles of water that was in the air or whatever?
What are you going on about now, man? What are you talking
Well, that's
about?
what I'm talking about. You're basing your theory is all based on, like my theory would be based on most people's based. We talk about, oh, that's against the rules of thermodynamics. Who says that thermodynamics is right? Who says that the air's full of 50% water or 70% water or whatever? Who's telling you this?
Right.
You
Well,
understand?
I
We've
just
been
said that
told
about the
that.
laws of. I
So,
just said that about the
but
laws of thermodynamics and
yeah, yeah,
natural
yeah, but
law.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We don't know the natural. We only know what we've been told, and our theories, like whether it be opposed to ball earth or whatever, is based on the knowledge that we have been told. You understand?
No, Ali. At this
No, you don't.
stage in the game, right? We have learned what we've learned, and now you have to put your own brain to things. Who else are you going to go to when it comes to these questions, right?
Yeah,
For
but
the
we've
vast
been
Okay,
majority
told
of the
well,
that, Pete.
populace, it's already
We've
sorted.
been
You go to
told.
Wikipedia.
I have a question.
Yeah, but we've been told that. We've sorry, Randy. I just want to finish. We've been told that. You understand? Everything we've been told, we'll base our theories. We say, oh well, they say
Sure.
we're told it's like 60% water, 70% water vapor in the air. We're basing our theories on that. You
I know.
understand?
What are you talking about, man? You haven't offered up any theory, and you don't know what I'm basing my
well,
theories on.
let me ask a
You've
question to
told
you
me.
guys. Let me ask a question to you both. Do you
Told
think
you in a
that
brief summation. Sorry, go on, Ranty.
do you think that the tides are somewhat linked to where the position of the moon is?
Yes. Everything is connected. That's my thought on it all. The tides twice per day, well, a little over, right? Every 13 hours. But everything is moving. Once we get to a flat Earth and we look up, let's just say you're looking up for the first time at the night sky. You see everything moving in unison, and that includes the moon, the stars, even though it might be a slight variation. It's too small for you to notice, right? If we put ourselves on a flat plane and we take these different considerations into account, something pivotal at the North Center, yes, I do see what's causing the movement of the sky is also causing the movement of the tides. So I do absolutely think everything is connected.
All right,
Hey,
explain this to
Ranty,
me.
just real quick.
Explain.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry, Ali.
No,
Ranty,
no,
just
no.
real quick. Brandon Toy said that he can present his second round of sugar picks if you want.
Sure. Well, in a bit, yeah, in a bit, yeah, for sure. Let's.
Yeah, whenever you want.
Yeah, I want
What do you
to.
think, Ranty? What do you think the moon is, Ranty?
Well, I want to hear Ali B's take on that because it was just
What do you
starting
think
to.
the moon is, Ali? You think men landed on the moon, or might have anyway?
Well, hang on. Let's talk about the tides first, please.
Sure.
Could the tide cause the moon to move rather than the moon cause the tide?
There you go, man.
Sure, Mark. But what do you think the moon is? That's why that was the next question to Ali and Ranty and all the rest of us, actually.
He didn't answer my question though. Could the tide be causing the moon to move?
I said sure. I did say yes. Sure,
Okay.
it's a
Hey,
possibility,
Mark, how
right?
you doing, mate? Long
Hi.
time.
Yeah, long time. Let's catch up. Old Bean.
Yeah, definitely, because I've not heard you on. I think I heard you. You were on a hangout there I think it was the other day, and it's so long since I've heard you talking.
Want to answer Ranty's question, Ali?
What was the question again?
What do you think? I mean, obviously the tides and the moon. Do you think they're synced?
No, I don't. I don't think they've got. I don't think it's completely separate. Actually, just because of the fact that that it can't be proven, and I don't believe that the movement of the moon's got anything at all to do with the tides. Actually, they don't even sync up. Well, explain to me why. A lot of people maybe they don't know this. But the tide stops for half an hour. It doesn't move, and then it goes out again, and that's why it's like the next day the tide's always an hour later, because it sits for half an hour when it comes in, and it sits for half an hour when it goes out. Once you're at your low tide, it'll sit there for half an hour, right, and it won't move. I've lived by the sea all my life, and I know this is a fact. It doesn't move. You can measure it. You can go and check it for yourself. And then when it comes into your full tide, it'll sit there for half an hour. And that's why the tides, if you've got a high tide at 8 o'clock one day, it'll be 9 o'clock the next, and it'll be 10 o'clock the day after. Explain why it sits for half an hour. So it can't be synced to the moon, because the moon's supposedly doing a regular thing, right? There's no reason why it should stop for half an hour. Suddenly all work stops for half an hour or 30 minutes or whatever. And that can be proven. You can go down to the beach and watch it. I've watched it all my life. I've lived by the beach all my life. So explain why it sits for half an hour. Now, if it was connected to the movement of the moon, then why would it stop for half an hour? What, the moon stops moving for half an hour or whatever? It suddenly stays still for half an hour. So there's
you timed that, Ali?
Say again?
Have you timed that yourself?
I certainly have. I know all about the tides, mate. I used to fish. I've lived by the sea all my life as a boy. As a boy, I lived by the sea. I know all about tides and stuff like that. I didn't know about swells and stuff like that. How would it could make a bulge or stuff. But I know that for a fact. The tide sits for half an hour, and of course I've timed it. I've done all night fishing. I've sat and fished for 24 hours. I've been fishing
I haven't
all
heard
my life.
that. Can anyone clarify that? That when the full tide comes in, as far as it will come,
it sits for half an hour.
It sits exactly for half an hour without rising or falling for a half an hour, and then.
Dude, why do you think? Well, listen. Why do you think then, right? Why you even said that? Why do you think, right? If I could say, right, high tide's at 8:15 tonight, right? I know for a fact at 9:15 the next night it'll be high tide again.
Well, that's just because of the period of the tidal flow itself. It's not, as far as I was
aware. Well, what's it got to do with the moon then? What's it got to do with the moon? The moon's apparently moving constantly. The Earth's apparently moving constantly. So why would the waters stop moving for half an hour all over the world? All over the world, man. And that's a fact.
Well, I'm not.
I've known that since I was a boy. I've been fishing all my life. I know. Right,
well,
I've been by the shore.
We'll all rule out anything to do with spinning ball Earth explanation. That includes the solid moon. Although you do believe the moon is a solid body, Ali, isn't that right?
Yeah, I do, but it doesn't mean that it affects the what goes on down here.
Well, it doesn't mean it doesn't. There's nothing between us, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it does.
Well, where is it then? If it's a solid body, what is it, and how far away is it? Because if you're going to say it's like 50,000 miles, then if it's a solid body, I'm going to say you're going to have to account for how.
We were talking about tide, Pete. We were talking about tides there. The moon's got I don't believe the moon's got anything at all to do with tides. So
You're not very
listen,
coherent, are you, man? Because you're the one that said regarding the spinning ball and the explanation regarding giving the moon as well for the tides. And I said, let's not go there because we know anything to do with spinning ball is fantasy. But bringing it back to what's actually happening, you hold that the moon, you hold that the moon is a solid body. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. You hold
yeah,
it's a
but
solid. How far
what is
away
it?
is it?
What is it? But then, right, okay. So here we go then. So then you're going into the fact that that this Cavendish experiments that mass attracts mass. So you're accepting that by
Ali,
saying
you're
that
not
the
very
moon.
coherent tonight for some reason. I asked you, how far away is the moon? I don't think the
Following
moon is
him.
a solid body. The moon is a reflection of solidity.
You didn't ask me how far away it was.
I did.
What is mass?
Hang on.
The
Pete.
answer as well. I mean, it's a simple question, right?
Pete, what is your bottom line? Where do you stand on cosmology?
Listen, I can talk about that, Mark. Can I just get Ali's answer? I mean, if he doesn't want to answer, he said I didn't ask him, and I did. I said, how far away is the moon?
Yeah, but you asked him a
Right.
question that he
Well, wait a
hadn't
minute,
told.
Mark.
In
Mark,
his
let
own
me answer.
view.
Right, let me answer. I think it's not very far away. How's that?
And how big is it then? If it's a solid body, how big is it? And you know,
I mean,
all these questions and what
God,
keeps it up there? And
right.
then
So if
if
I
you have it
can't
as a
answer
solid
that
body,
question,
surely it's interacting some way with the Earth.
yeah, but then you're going about you're accepting the fact that mass attracts mass. Then,
I'm not. You tell me.
right. So if I stood there, well, how can this is the whole point. I told you the moon, in my opinion, it's a lot smaller and it's not as far away. I can't tell you. I'd be like one of these scientist guys or someone that says, "Oh, I know what reality is." Then, but I don't know what
Just
reality
roughly,
is. So I
Ali,
couldn't just
roughly,
say.
your own
I,
guesstimation.
I don't know. That is my guesstimation. I haven't got a clue. To put a number on it, it'd be stupid. I couldn't.
But it's still a ball. It's still a ball orbiting around a flat surface.
It's it seems to be going around, yeah. But I think it's more of a sine wave, so it kind of goes up and then down, you know, like a sine wave, and that's why it looks as if it sets, kind of
What's
thing.
accounting for
That's
these movements then of a ball in space? Is it not empty space? See there down another. Okay.
yeah, I know it's hard, Pete, but as I say, I
Not
can't.
hard. You're just not giving
I
any
have to
answers,
accept.
Ali, like you didn't 5 years ago.
I just told you I didn't know. Right, so just because I say, see, this is the kind of thing that what you're doing now, or what I feel as if you're doing now is I've heard that I've had this for 5 years off of ball earthers. Oh, if I'm not right, if what they're saying is not right, you have to give me another theory, otherwise I'm right, kind of thing.
I'm
That's
not
what you're
asking you
doing,
for that. I'm just asking you to elaborate on your thoughts, man. What's so
right? I
bloody
told you,
difficult about
I
that?
Okay,
don't
listen,
know.
hold on real quick. I have not had a problem understanding Ali up to this point, Pete, so I'm not sure what your hangup is.
Yeah, but he hasn't said anything, man.
I feel like he's answered your questions.
Right. The ball. So if the moon is a ball in space, I asked him then, is the ball moving around? He said the moon seems to be traveling in a sine wave. He doesn't know how far it is. He doesn't know how big it is, but it seems to be traveling in a sine wave. So now the question comes back to,
No, I
well,
said it
is it
could
traveling
be.
in space? What is it? What is the medium? What is the motive force behind its motion?
Pete, you're trying to make Ali give a description of his model, and he hasn't got a
Trying to get
model.
a thought out of him. That's all.
But I've explained. I don't know what the moon is, but I'm telling you, it's got nothing to do at all to do with the tides. And if you say it does, then you're accepting, to me anyway, in my head, that you're accepting this mass attracting mass shit. And I've yet to see that. But nobody believes in the
But you don't know
Cavendish
what the moon
experiment.
is. You don't know how far away it is.
Well,
So if you
well,
have it as a
excuse me, I've
ball
never been
rotating
there,
around the Earth,
dude.
then there's
I've
quite
never been there.
possibly some sort of a
I have
force
never.
of attraction between the Earth and the moon, Ali.
I wouldn't be as arrogant as to presume what I knew what the Earth and the Sun was. How about
You're
that
not
for an
actually saying
answer?
anything as usual, right? Not actually saying anything.
Maybe in your head.
No, Ali, I'm asking you this. You've had the same views for 5 years. You think man landed on the moon. If the moon is
Yep,
a solid body, and you
yep.
can't elaborate beyond that, it's just a hunch. That's fair enough.
No, that's that. Yeah, exactly. That's what. But didn't I say that in the beginning?
It's
I don't
frustrating
have
though.
the truth.
Have
But
you
Pete,
no?
I don't. What? I don't have the truth. Nobody has the fucking truth. I'd
How do
be
you know no
arrogant.
one has the truth?
I'd be an arrogant bastard if I said, "Hey, by the way, this is it. This is the way it is." Is
No
that what
one's
you
asking you
want
about
me to
that. But you
tell you?
said the truth. No, you said no one has the truth. How do you know that no one has the truth?
Is that a true statement, Pete?
That's a question.
It's a two-way street. Do you have the truth?
I never said I had the truth, right? Ali made a statement that no one has the truth. I said, how does he know that no one has the truth? And I was more referring to the people
Oh
who
well, I
write
don't
the
know.
story. What about the
I don't know.
military? What about the military who could send high altitude balloons up early last century, and record what they were seeing? I think they didn't know the
Uh,
nature of the skylights going way back then. Do you think they didn't always know, Mark, that the Earth was flat and stationary at some fundamental level? Come on. What truth? What truth
all
are you
right, I
talking
can't.
about?
Right, okay, right. That's it. Right, okay.
What do you
So,
think the moon
uh,
is, Mark? What do you think the moon
oh
is,
wait a minute.
Mark?
Let me answer you. Let me answer you, Pete. Let me just answer that then. That's it. Yeah, that was a mistake. Me saying that
Right.
no one has the truth because I don't know that truly. That's what I feel, right? But for you to make that you think that someone does have the truth, these people, there's people there that know that, but that's absurd. If you ever look at nature and stuff like that and sit back and think, you know, how do these people know this? They don't know it, and these people are studying it, right? These people are studying it, right? So and they don't know what it is because the shit that they come back and tell us is certainly not the.
What are you
Uh,
talking about, man? Honest to God, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the official official scientists who work according to the official story script? Are you
no,
talking
I'm
about the
talking
people
about.
who pay them?
I'm
Are we
no,
talking
no.
about the ultimate sort of level here, Ali?
How
The
many
truth
questions? Are
about
you
the
going to
nature
ask
of
me
this.
10 questions? How many questions have I made to answer then?
You're not answering anything, though, man. Do you think people
No,
know the truth regarding the nature of the sun or moon?
no, no, they
You
don't.
don't.
No, they don't.
You
No, they
don't.
don't. Nope,
You really
nope,
don't.
no, no, they really
So,
don't.
right. So it took, yeah, fucking hell, man. Right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It took until we had access to high altitude balloon and camera footages to notice that the stars disappear or the moon diminishes massively in size. It took us to realize that. We were first to know that piece of truth, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm just saying that they don't know the truth.
How do you
They don't
know,
know what it was.
man? How do you know what anyone knows? I'm listening to what, and you've said a whole lot of nothing, Ali. That's the truth. And anyone listening,
Keep
I've been
going, Pete.
talking with Ali like this for 5 years. Is that true,
No, you
Ali?
haven't. No, well, you should try another tact then, because that's
What
your
tact?
failing, not mine.
Well, I want to
I'm
see your
giving.
advancement in thinking,
I'm
man. That's
consistent,
all.
dude. You've just made a statement that I'm consistent. For the last 5 years, I've been saying the same thing. So what?
Which is
So I'm
nothing.
consistent. Is that not good enough? Yeah, in your
Well,
mind
what have you
only, Pete.
said? What have you said? What
Only in
is the
your Pete.
moon then? What
Oh,
what medium does the moon travel through?
see, right. See, that's absurd to ask me that when I've already told you. I'd be
So you don't
arrogant to
know.
think that I knew what it was. I've told you I don't know what it is.
So
How many
you
times I
haven't
got to fucking
elaborated
tell you?
then on your thoughts, man. So you're just saying nothing.
I
The
told
truth
you
can't be known. This is my singular thought. I won't
I
expand
told
upon it.
you,
Blah blah
I
blah.
told you that I believed that this the moon was moving in a sine wave. Did I say that or did I not?
Yes, you did.
Right then, so fucking what you talking about? I don't give an answer.
So what is it moving through in the sine wave, and what is the motive force behind the motion? What's causing
Well,
its movement?
it's moving through a medium.
Of what?
Oh, it's moving through my piss. Is that what you want me to give an answer? I don't
See, this is
fucking
the
know.
bollocks that I have
But I
to
don't know.
continually put up with.
See,
Forget
no,
about it.
actually, this isn't a box. This is actually exposing how you think that you're arrogant
You're
enough to
saying
think
nothing,
that you
man.
know
You're
the truth.
absolutely saying nothing. You're saying
Pete,
nothing at
But
all.
is it not better to say nothing that you don't know, right? Rather
Say
than
nothing
make
that
up
you
some
don't
shit
know. You speak
that
properly, man.
makes
For
shit up.
God's sake.
That I would talk
Ridiculous.
a load of shite. Well, yeah, would I talk a lot of shit? Is it better that, what would you, shall I make some stuff up then for you, Pete?
No, I'm not asking you to make anything up.
It's the
Listen,
dodo. Right, so I
listen,
tell you, if I don't know, I don't fucking know. What don't you get
that's
about I
fine.
don't know?
All right,
Right,
that's fine. Remember, I threw the question out there
right, so
based on
holding
D-Ball's
testing fucking
question
Rockwell,
about
man.
what causes the tides. That's all.
Yeah, but I told
Okay.
you it wasn't the moon.
Okay, so
All
okay, right. So
Anyway, I'm
Mark
silenced. I
Doxey
was
might
trying to
answer the
run on.
question, Randy, what he thinks the moon is.
Pete, you're more interested in your own self-righteousness than in truth.
Mark, tell us what you think the moon is.
Did you hear what I said? You're more
Yes, I
interested
did.
in your
Yes, I
own
did, Mark. Tell us
personal.
what you think the moon is.
So that was an ad hom attack on you. You personally. You are only interested in your own
That's your
personal
impression.
righteousness.
So I heard you. That's the third time. Can you tell me what you think the moon is?
What does it matter to you what the moon is? You are only interested in your own personal righteousness. And I think if I asked everybody whether that is true or not, I think I would get a thumbs up.
Why do you say that now, Mark? Go on. You don't speak here much. Why do you say that?
Because you are. I've listened to you for about 3 years. You're not open to truth. You're only open to your own personal righteousness.
Okay, Ranty, bear with us for a few minutes because I don't think I've ever spoken to Mark one-on-one. My own personal righteousness. What do you mean by that?
That you are right and that you will defend your righteousness, but you're not actually interested in truth.
So you're conflating right and righteousness. There's a sort of a difference, a distinction there. But what am I right about? What do I claim to be right about? And I won't hear anything.
Everything that you say is your personal righteousness. I can't tell you what is right from your point of view. It's what you say. You are right
So
in your own personal bubble.
you right in your own personal righteousness.
See, you've thrown it at me.
Yes, but you said it about me. So is everyone in their own personal righteousness right? So what you think is right, are you right in your righteous thinking?
No, I'm open to
Are we
correction.
supposed to think we're wrong? What else are we going to think but we're right?
I'm
If you
open to
think you're
correction at
wrong, why would you
every
think
step
that?
of the way, Mark Doxey. So what? But hang on. Is this the point of this? I asked Ali B what the moon was, right? Actually, it's got to do with the tides, and then I asked you, Mark. I'm not saying I know what the moon is, but I have something to say about what I think the moon is.
okay, well let's
I'm not saying. I'd love to hear what other people have to say.
So yeah, let's get back to the moon then. I mean, you know, I would be interested in that actually. Mark, what do you think the moon is, and do you think it has an effect on the tides?
Well, okay, there's two questions there. I don't know what the moon is, and could the tide affect the moon, or is it the moon affecting the tide? What we were told as kids, and currently, it's the moon that causes the tides. I don't know that. Could possibly the tide affect the moon, or is there no correlation whatsoever?
Would you say that there would need to be, like, if the moon was affecting the water, there would have to be a process, right?
Well, we have two high tides, one pointing to the moon and one directly opposite the moon on the globe, Earth. I don't get that. I don't get why you would get an elliptical shape of the tides. I would understand maybe an egg shape of the tides. Nobody's ever answered that question other than a pathetic reason that the moon attracts the tides and it attracts the Earth as well, so it leaves a symmetrical high tide, low tide on the opposite sides of where the moon is pointing. I hope that was clear, folks.
I meant more like if like, let's say I moved a ball, right? Like I influenced the ball. There would have to be a mechanism for me to do that. Like I couldn't just do it magically. This is what I'm saying. If the moon is affecting the water, there has to be some thing, right, in between that connects the moon to the water to get the influence. You get where I'm going with
Yeah, I get that. I can only go by what I was taught, that there's a correlation between the moon moving around this supposed globe and it creates a tide as it goes around. Now, could it be that another cause causes the high tide and that the moon follows the high tide? I don't know.
Or maybe it's not related at all. You know, maybe
Yes,
it's just coincidence.
yeah.
Have you
Could be.
have you any thoughts on what the moon might be then, Mark? We haven't heard you here before.
No, I'm not going to go into speculation of what it might be.
Anything at all. Anything at all.
That the Earth presents itself as flat and motionless.
What
That's my
about
position.
Ranty presented image? I think you don't need to show it again, but yeah, it's there. I don't think it's there in spades, but yeah, the moon tends to diminish in size to a drastic degree. That once you get above a certain point, it's a small black dot, and I've never seen any images of it otherwise. Have you heard that thought, or have you seen any video suggesting the same?
I have no personal experience of that.
Are you some sort of a fake here, Mark? Are you some sort of person who's in here with a script, and you'll stick to that script? Anything outside of that script, you won't venture.
Yeah.
You won't venture to answering up an opinion, offering up an opinion.
Can I just say something? Let me just say something. Let me just say something, and then I'm going to mute for good. I'm just going to listen to the conversation. Pete, what you're doing, right, is you're asking people
for God's
opinions.
sake.
Excuse me, can I just finish? It'll be 2 seconds. It'll take me. You're asking people questions, right, only so that you can attack them and give your opinion
I'm
of
not
them.
asking questions to attack him. I want his point of view.
No, but you are. But you've done it with me.
I
No, but that's what you're doing anyway.
I wanted you to expand upon it, Ali, and all you said is, "I don't know."
Yeah, like let me just talk from my personal. Like me and Pete have talked about stuff, and when I tell him like what I think, he's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll get you there." But because I think what Pete's trying to say is like, look, you can't, and this is part of how I see it, is like you can't say, "Oh, I don't accept the ball," and like you can't. What is in your head? If you remove the ball, your head has to present or make something. You can't just go around saying, "Oh, I don't know." I mean, you can, but to me, that's
not really.
That's a little.
Right,
hang on. And when I give my answer, excuse me, please. When I give my answer, then I'm accused of being self-righteous, right? But I'm not saying, I'm only giving up what my thoughts and my research has offered. But not that I've even done that. But I haven't heard anything back from anybody else. And I'm accused of being self-righteous then, because I'm a little impatient by people like Ali B, who's been here 5 years, and he just can't expand upon a thought.
Yeah, but you'll ridicule. See, the thing is, Pete, if I do come up with my opinion, you'll just try and debunk it or just try to
I won't, man.
Well. Yes, you
will. I won't. For God's sake, this is what we're doing this for. It's to try to figure out our home, right?
Exactly. Like if you have 1,000, if you got 1,000 people thinking of 1,000 different things, bro, we're going to get so much further than if everybody's just going, well, it's not the ball, but I don't know anything. We got to start piecing this thing together and be like, yo, what the hell is going on? That's why I enjoy thinking about how this stuff
right the hand. I'll agree with you, but
yeah, I do as well. Right the hand. That's a fair point to make.
Yeah, that is.
Right the hand. I hold that the truth is already known as well.
Yeah, but let me finish my point there, right? So right the hand, I agree with that. But see, I've done that. I've been doing this for 5 fucking years, giving my opinion about it, and all I get is ridicule. So I'm like, nobody wants to hear it, man. Anything that I say or suggest or whatever, it gets ridiculed. So why the fuck should I even be bothered?
Well, I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why. A lot of people shit on Pete, and he gets a lot. But I'll tell you what. Some of the stuff, if you consider, like he says, golden shit, even if it's 9 pounds of shit, bro, I've taken like sand. I still believe that sand. Yes, I think it's the remnants of a tree. Like I think that's why it's always near the beach. And then I went along the line of fossilized, petrified wood is where we get rocks, right? So okay, you don't take everything, but even if he gives you one thing, that's one thing that you build on and that somebody else will hear, right? And this is why it's so, dude, they're trying to stop you from thinking. They're not trying to tell you that the earth is a ball, because they can tell you whatever you want. If you think, it doesn't matter. So once you start thinking, they lose all of their everything. Like with this mask bullshit, if people started thinking like, why am I covering my spit? I'll just breathe through my nose. But I don't need to put a mask.
Yeah, but I keep that stuff to myself. I've learned just to keep my ideas and maybe speak with people that are more receptive to what I think. And I know if someone asks me a question, I know if they're going to be receptive to it. And I have no time for this shit, man, of people arguing against me. I've met people I can sit and discuss with, and Pete's not a person I can sit and discuss with things.
I'm a very reasonable man,
and you know it. Can I
Pete,
You know,
move
I'm
it
a very
along?
reasonable man, Ali.
Listen,
But when
Can
are you
I have
supposed
a
to
go
run
at
out of
moving it along?
patience, right?
yeah,
Let me
but
just
Pete, a
say,
lot you
let me just
say.
say,
But
Ali.
let me finish. Let me finish because you interrupt me. A lot
Oh,
of
did
what
I?
Pete says. Yep, a lot of what you say, Pete, is great, man. I like listening to you when you think there's a lot of sense. But all I've had off of you for the last 5 years is I'm an agent. That's all I've had off of you.
It's not
We're
all you've
all
had off
agents.
So
me.
why the fuck would I want to interact with someone or give you answers? I know your script. I know your script.
It's
By
not
now.
all you've had off me, man.
Yes, it has. You accused me
We've
of
had
being an
many,
agent.
many
Whatever.
reasonably
Like,
pleasant conversations.
like,
Can I move it
like,
along instead of a
like.
personal attack thing?
Yeah.
Go on,
Well,
Wade.
Go on,
it's
Wade.
not a this isn't a personal attack thing.
Well, it was
This
just.
I'm just pointing.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out. I'm just pointing out the experience that I've had with Pete. I'm not attacking Pete.
Well,
What Pete
well,
said.
How about
No,
we
I
you've
never thought.
highlighted it, but
let's
it's
I'm
more
never
of
gonna
a.
Before we
hold
change
on.
topic,
Hold on.
Can I go
before
to
we
the?
change topic,
let's
can I say one
discuss
thing on?
Evolve for
Sorry.
Life's
Tough.
I was going to
observations.
say something about observation of the tides. Put it this way: we all know morning dew exists. Yeah. So there's a bit of wet on the grass. Sun comes out, dries it up, water goes up. Yeah. We all know that cycle exists. So the disruptiveness of that, of a sun being in the way of a sea, will pull or have an effect on the sea, regardless, because we can see it with dew.
True. That's true, Gleam. But what is the sun then? And we know the sun travels
I was
inwards and
going to get to
outwards in
that.
spiraling fashion on an annual basis. And this is what I'm talking about, connecting everything back to the one source for all. But yeah, what is the sun then, Gleam?
Well, I was going to agree with you partly on the ether. There must be a medium that
Right.
that is applying a pressure to, pushing down or pulling up, either or. And I believe it's of an electric nature. Let's say.
Okay,
Sun is
let me
Right.
ask you. Let me
Let me just
say
say
one
right
thing. Maybe
behind.
this might
Yeah,
be.
let me
Yeah. Go.
okay.
No, go.
Let me just say then, Gleam, what you do and what you fail, and I think it's probably okay, but what you do is you will not come down on whether Earth is enclosed or not, because if it is enclosed, then the ether takes on a whole different, um, a whole different sense, a whole different meaning.
not if you've got enough volume. If there's volume enough to not care. I mean, ether can exist on a globe Earth. Put it that way.
No, but it doesn't matter what can or can't exist. We're talking about what is. And when you have the sun and 93 million miles away in space, which you can, bear the possibility in mind, well, that changes the whole context for the ether. If we're
But there's
in
a
an
problem,
enclosed
isn't it,
area,
Pete?
right?
I
If
don't
we're
think it does.
in
We
an
don't know what it is.
enclosed area and the sun, well, something different, as you know what I say, all reflections, then the ether is very up close and personal.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Sorry.
I get that from a flat Earth point of view. Yeah, but in a sense, all I was trying to get to is that all weather and everything is a system of pressure changes, and that pressure changes come
Yeah.
from temperature changes of the sun warming it up, and at night it's getting
Yeah.
cooled down. So
That's what I said earlier on.
Well,
Fundamentally,
some people say there's like how the sun heats. There's a cooling source like in the Arctic, and that's where you get like a lot of. I'm again, if I believe that there is some kind of whatever, call me stupid, but like an air conditioning, right? Like, because if you had just the sun beating
magnetism.
down on this Earth, it would heat up to the point, so that there must be something that's. I worked in HVAC. You make heat, you make cold with heat, like they're
Exactly.
intertwined. So the colder your cold source is, the hotter the heat source is. So I just think the sun is the heat source, and then in the Arctic, that's what dispels keeps it balanced. I mean, it's a perfect system.
You're exactly
Just
right.
think about this.
Go on. Sorry.
I'll be short. Think about the system that we're being shown in the flat Earth. Let's call it a model, but where the heat source is circuiting above in a circuit in the middle. Let's just use the equator in this instant, with the North Pole being very, very cold and the South Pole being cold. So all that cold and heat is being mixed in a perfect system with night and day. And if you want to call it an AC, let's do that. But it seems to be a cycle, a perfect system. That's how I see it too. I mean, that's just how I see it.
Is there Dave, have you considered it a possibility of a broken system? So what we view as creation is actually a destruction in one sense of a prior form. Have you considered that?
I think that's a different conversation, but I mean, yeah, I consider all things. I mean, I don't claim to know even what I'm talking about in this AC deal. But I think what you're bringing up is a different conversation altogether.
Yeah, just to add
No,
on
it's not
to
really.
just
But
before, just
Well,
to
no,
add on
I
that.
agree that
Oh,
it's part of it, but it's not what we're discussing.
just to add on before, I fully agree with the HVAC thing. And magnetic fields, when they are concentrated, cool. So there is a concentration of magnetic field called the Birkeland currents. I was just speaking to Zep Deppy about it. He's clueless in the side chat. And literally, where there is magnetism in the toroidal field coming down to the Earth, that's where it's going to get the coldest, and that's why Antarctica and Antarctic have ice.
Right? Like you can't pull heat, mate. If you have something that is creating heat, it's going to be pulling the heat from around it, right? So naturally, if you pull enough heat, right, you're going to create some kind of cold that follows it.
Draft. Yeah. No, that's it. It's exactly that. It's
but is
opposite.
the sun is hot? Is the sun hot? Right the hand.
Man, I tell you, I've had a lot of I've been thinking the sun could either be the starting point or the ending point of the input, right? So there could be who knows how this process works, it could it be the magnetism, a quote unquote air quotes, I'm just saying, like the toroidal from the bottom of the earth up, you know what I mean? So it's like that's where the direction, and it seems like it's coming from the top, because of the way everything works, but that's where the mechanism. It's very, very interesting the way these things could work.
Yeah, there is evidence for that though as well in the solar coronal heating problem, where the solar corona just off the surface is 1,000,000 Kelvin, and the surface is 6,000 Kelvin, which completely destroys second law of thermo as well as inverse square law. And they've come up with things which are magnetic related, which cools it down and allows convection up at the top part of the atmosphere. However, in the globe model, it is cold dead in the center.
How did they measure the heat, Gleam? Right, if they say heat doesn't
spectroscopy.
travel, if heat doesn't spectroscope, there you go. If heat doesn't travel through a vacuum, how can they tell it's the sun's hot then?
Wait, listen to this. This is the best part. They'll tell you in the thermosphere or whatever one of these, the hottest sphere, right? The one that's super, super hot. If you had a thermometer, it would register freezing. You're just like, what? So how do you know if your device that tells you the temperature is giving you a cold reading? What led you to believe that it's hot? It's retarded.
Right. The thing that I get there, right, is if, like, for example, a thermometer, if you put a thermometer in boiling water, you're not measuring the heat of the water. All you're doing is you're measuring the reaction with the instrument that you've got. That's all you're measuring. You're not really proving that's hot or anything.
Touch contact.
Like in the ancients believed it was the earth that produced the energy. If the sun shines on something and your skin goes burnt, how do you know it's the sun? It's the sun that's hot and it's not your skin that produces.
Or the water in the air that's called you.
Yeah, it could be. But I'm just saying that. But if you notice what I just said there, I'm just talking what science says. That's all I'm saying. I'm just talking what I've been told, what I've been indoctrinated. That's the way that I see things, my world view, and that's what everybody else is doing. When they presume that they know, or talking about in the thermosphere, the scientists say this and that and that and that. You're presuming that you know, but yet we're not meant to believe what they say. It's like a contradiction. So I'd rather go with, hey, I don't know, man. That's just my opinion.
Well, where does that leave you, Ali? And especially when you consider this whole arena is all set up. The truth of our situation is already known, right? Whatever, or wherever, whenever we are, if you want to take that as a premise, but then you'll progress or you'll move forward in a different sense than if you don't, because in one sense, how are you ever supposed to come to any terms beyond flat Earth? You know what I mean? It'll always just be a speculation, a point of view of an individual. You'll never know if you're closer or far.
Pete, that leaves me saying I don't know, leaves me open to learning. When you've decided something and you make statements, you've already decided.
But maybe I've learned something that you've yet to learn.
Can I finish? let me finish.
Yeah,
finish.
maybe I've
Is-
learned something you've yet to learn, Ali.
Yeah, maybe
Is
you
that
have.
possible?
Yeah,
Is that
absolutely.
possible?
Yes, it is.
So if you found out that that was true, would you change your attitude then?
Hey, Pete, I have a question for you.
Well,
Is it
if I
possible?
found, wait a minute, Travis. If I did find out it was true, of course I would have to fucking change my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, so my question, Pete, is it possible that the atmosphere is the reflective surface over distance?
I would
Why
say
are you
no.
silent? Why are you
I would
silent
say
right
no.
now?
Hang on. I was gauging your question, and I think I was silent for about 2 bloody seconds. I would say no.
Okay, so how do you know that?
Hang on. You're getting back to your ether band,
Yeah,
central thesis,
yeah.
and all of this.
Are you open to the possibility?
Absolutely. Of course I am. Of course I am.
Okay,
Didn't I
so
believe
okay,
all of
listen.
that?
Okay, wait, hold on. I just said, are you open? You said yes, but before that, I said, is it possible? You said no. Which is it?
Right. I ruled it out. So that's what I was open to the possibility all along. But taking new information into mind, and especially within the context of flat Earth, an extended span, no, it's the water that's doing the mirroring.
Okay, so
So, and
just
I noticed you were on with Cleary there and Wide Awake, and he has many good examples of and proofs that the water itself is doing the mirroring. Now, the atmosphere itself, there is effects going on, but when it comes to mirroring, this is the water surface itself that's
okay,
doing the
yeah. So
mirroring.
just by way of reference, Pete, if you're interested to check out Andrew Thomas Young, before I consulted Andrew Thomas Young, I concluded that it was the atmosphere. In Andrew Thomas Young's writings on mirages, he says that it was at first understood that water was the reflective surface. Now it is understood that it is not, but it is actually the air. So even Andrew Thomas Young affirms that the air is the reflective surface.
All right, but he also affirms that when you're looking at an horizon, you're looking at a geometric horizon, and everything beyond
Don't
that or above
misdirect.
that,
Don't
everything above that
misdirect.
has to be explained via atmospheric refraction, right,
Right, and
Travis?
don't misdirect. I'm just making my point that
Listen, you're
he
not talking to a
affirms.
bald earther here, Travis. Don't be so slinky, right? You brought up Andrew Thomas Young, and
Yeah.
because now he agrees with your position, you cherry pick that aspect of it. Why
No. I
hang
just
on,
am.
let me finish, man. But you refuse or you forget to mention that he does hold that this visible horizon is a geometric horizon, right?
Yeah, I don't disagree that he affirms that the geometric horizon is a thing, but I'm simply referring you to another source beside myself that would assert that it's the
He
air
has to
that
say
is.
that.
Can I be God's advocate and say you're
Hang
both
on,
right?
Gleam. Hang on, just 1 second, Gleam, please. He has. Do you understand, Travis, why he has to say that? Because as we're looking at an image, the illusory or visible horizon sets itself up, and he calls that a solidity, right? Everything beyond that is going over Earth curvature. So therefore, everything above that is in the air, the atmosphere. So when we see all manner of anomalies, then it has to be put down to the atmosphere. He's stuck in a corner. You understand that, Travis?
Or that might be the case, but I'm not stuck in the same corner because we both have the same horizon, right? He's attributing his horizon to physical geometric distance. And that would be a point of departure for me, where I would not attribute the horizon to or rather the cause of the horizon. The cause of the horizon for him is physical curvature. Again, that would be something that I would disagree with him on. So I'm not really going to concede that your argument stands because you bring up the fact that he attributes the horizon to physical curvature. That wasn't my point. My point was simply that the air is the medium that is the reflective surface. That's all.
My point is that he has to. He has no other choice. He's nothing else that
Okay.
he can go to as an explanation as to what's causing the mirroring.
Can I be God's advocate here and say you're both right? Number one, it's undeniable that mirroring happens on the water surface. You've seen, let's say, very good refractive conditions, and it's been pretty clear or even close, and you can see a bloody mountain reflected in the water. So we know that that happens, and we also know that the atmosphere can reflect. We've got the things like sundogs. sundogs, the two little
Yeah.
side ones, are reflections.
No,
So
no, 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 no. That's not a. Hang on, please. That's not a good sort of equation there, Gleam, because whatever's going on up in the sky, you have to detail exactly what all the component constituent parts might be. Can you give us another example, a terrestrial example, of the air causing mirroring?
Well, I actually believe that the mirrors as well, Pete. So I've
That's
said
fair
it.
enough.
I've said it
on
for
a
the.
road
So-
with no water,
I
on a
can-
road
Fair
with
enough.
no water, on a
I
road
can
with no
jump-
water, it mirrors.
I can jump in just real quick. Again, referring back to Andrew Thomas Young, as he refers back to someone I think from the 1800s, Walterston, I think is his name, in describing the difference between a reflection on the water. There are more acute and sharp angles, but when you have the refraction in the air, those sharp angles are not there. There is a drastic difference between the image, and so I would affirm what Gleam just said, and I would affirm Pete too.
Rubbish. That's rubbish.
Okay. Just
It
let
is
me
rubbish,
finish.
Travis.
Look in the chat.
And-
Look
okay,
in the chat, and
okay.
the sky is mirrored onto a road with no water on it.
So
So
Hang on, please.
So
That's
this
a
Thomas
perfect
Sh-
example. Does concrete sweat, Gleam?
Well, this Thomas Young guy. When is he suddenly decided this? How long ago did he suddenly decide this?
No, he's the what I'm referring to, Ranty, is he cites another author back in the 1800s who's making an observation in Geneva on the water, and he's simply saying, I don't believe that this is a water reflection because the angles and the lines aren't as sharp as what you see when it's on the water. So if you're up in the mountains and you see a very calm lake and you look at a mirrored image on the water, that is absolutely clear and pristine. When you have refraction in the air, it totally has distortion. There is a difference between the two images.
The best channel, the best channel that I can recommend for anybody, and I mean this, to look into this exact example. Everyone, pin your ears back. This is for the people in the chat too. Look up the channel called Sky Free. So Sky Free, 2 words, dead easy, and they do these experiments, these little observations of a toy boat on a lake, and I think the lake is, I think it's 500 feet from one side to the other. It's not very big at all, and many times they've been able to observe the boat completely hidden behind, an inferior mirage for the sake of it,
which is a reflective water surface,
which cannot be from the surface. It can't be from the surface. It's impossible for that to have happened.
Yeah, Pete, there's a disconnect, my friend. Listen, if you have a boat sitting on the surface of the water and you have a reflection of that boat, you can see that the boat is on the water. However, when you get into an inferior mirage, that breaks down because the surface of the water in the mirage ends. It has cessation, and then there's distance, and then there is an inverted image that cannot be on the water. It cannot be because the geometry breaks down.
Listen, let me say this, right? Do you agree or disagree with this statement? That over water, when you look at the reflection of something that is cast on the water, that the reflection will be the same size as the object itself. Do you agree with that? From no matter what perspective or angle you look at. Do you agree with that?
I'm comfortable with that, sure. Yeah.
You are comfortable with that?
Yep.
Well, then you're crazy, man. Then you're absolutely crazy. And you know what? Go down to your local river tomorrow,
hold
Travis.
on, Pete.
Hang on,
Listen,
please.
Pete.
Go down to your local
I
river
want to
tomorrow.
ask
Hang
you
on,
to
Travis.
develop
Go
your
down to your
answer.
local river tomorrow. Anybody here, go down to your local river tomorrow and look at a tree across the river or a lamppost or a person or something like that and see by what extent Travis, let me finish, right? And then I'll shut up. See to what extent that the reflection that you're looking at is many times bigger than the original object.
That can happen. Yes.
Yeah, that can happen. But here,
that can happen, Pete. Okay, so hold on. Your question was very narrow. Okay, the way. Okay, so
That's
I tried.
In general.
Okay. Your question was very narrow. I didn't try to hedge my bet. I simply answered you in terms of what I can relate to my own experience. As I have taken images on the Chesapeake Bay, Pete, I can show you symmetrically that the images are very close to being the same angular size. Now, I can also show you other ones. So based on your question, it was a simple yes. Yes, that's true. Now,
it's never the same size, the reflection. And the further you look away, the reflection will be much, much larger than the original object.
Right, can I just intercept for just a second, right? But Pete, I understand that you're protecting your mirrored water layer. I understand that because
Travis is protecting his ether band, Randy.
Yeah, I'm just let me just finish.
Pete, you're dead wrong on this one, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see it.
Well, I understand that you're protecting your mirrored water layer, and don't get me wrong, I have seen it myself that you do see the reflection on the water, but I'd say that probably 90% of the reflections that we see over water are through an inferior mirage, and the inferior mirage can be calculated above the water.
I've seen the ether band.
Any image you present, you choose to present.
Everybody
it on.
drink.
Travis to do this the last time. Pick his best image.
Well,
this is proof of ether band, and I will show him that it's the water.
Okay. Well, let me just.
Ether band. I've seen it.
let me just respond again, Pete. You know that I've been doing this research for years, right? And so has Travis.
Travis, get the video.
And essentially, both of us, we've and Sky Free and anybody else that does this extended line of research all comes to the same conclusion.
You're all wrong. And I'll tell you why you're all wrong. Because what you haven't done, coming to the
self-righteousness.
Well, let's see. Are you capable of throwing aside everything that you have to this date come to?
You know how this started, Pete, right? You know how this all started.
Hang on, please. What's with the ridicule here? Travis,
you know how this all started, right?
Are you willing to throw away everything that you found and you hold to be true?
We're not ridiculing you.
You know now that you're reversing the burden, right? Because that was my question. Yeah,
right,
that was my question.
So
to you at the very beginning, Pete.
Nobody's ridiculing anybody, Pete, and we understand. Listen, things progress.
Our progression here. There's regression.
Our knowledge progresses, and
bring up your three boat images where they're all given a separate inferior mirage, Ranty, and get Travis to explain it. I'll explain in 5 fucking minutes. It will take Travis about 2 hours, and you'll still be no closer to an explanation or understanding.
All I would say, Pete, is that
calm down, Pete.
Don't worry about it, Dave. I'll be hostile when I need to be hostile.
What Travis was trying to explain to you was the angle of incidence. Get a mirror, stick a boat on the mirror, and lower your head, your vision down so it gets lower and lower towards the mirror, and you'll see it'll be a totally different reflection because of the angle of incidence. So what you're saying about it being a mirror image, you would have to be a certain angle looking at the boat to see the boat reflected in that same way. So I'm totally agree.
So let me restate Pete's. Okay, hold on real quick, Pete. Just real quick. Let me say this real quick, Pete. Just real quick, Pete. Just real quick. Okay, I would have answered your question completely different had you asked me, Travis, would you say that 100% of the time the image that you see reflected is the same size? I would have said no. But that's not what you asked.
I said in general.
Right, and I said yes, and then you told me I was wrong.
You're wrong. You are wrong.
Okay.
You are wrong. In every case, it's over water, and especially when you're looking over an extended span of water. When you see something mirroring, that mirror reflection will be many, many, many times the what do you call it? The height of the boat or the target.
Okay,
right?
well,
just depending on our.
Well, the question was in general, and now you're saying never and ever. I don't get your I don't get your reasoning, man.
Well, look, maybe we can get into this another time, but for the audience's sake, I would say, let me I'll let you finish in a second. I'll let you, honestly, I'll let you get the last word in, I promise, right? So, this is for the audience, right? So, it's up to you to make your own mind up, essentially. People that have done a lot of research, and I'm not saying that you haven't done it, Pete. But what I'm saying is that I strongly believe you're wrong in this, and I think a lot of people would agree on that too. That maybe you could look at this and try and incorporate something new into your own line of research, rather than just say we're wrong when we've got
It would also help.
research.
It would also help if Travis could bring us that video with the ether band that is prominent, like you can see the band.
Okay, well,
I wish I had
above
Travis's
the band.
video on hand, because it's ridiculous that these guys don't get it.
If Travis wants to present
I'm
anything.
driving right now.
Okay.
I could try to put something together tomorrow morning.
No worries.
But right now I'm
well,
driving.
we all know that. Hang on, just a sec, Pete. We all know that Discord's playing up at the minute, so I can't share a screen. So I'm going to have to take the call over onto Skype. So I'm going to add a few of you to that call. I've already done it actually. So if people that are actually on my Skype can just join, I'm going to phone you in a minute. If you want to hang up here and then join there, that's great. If not, stay in the call, and I will be back in probably 15 minutes or 20 minutes when Brandon's done his presentation. So he's going to show you this sugar solution test. So I'm
going to back over to YouTube.
Before you go, Ranty, let me
let me just finish, please, Pete.
Yeah.
So so if you want to stay in the show channel and don't want to jump on Skype, that's great. Maybe watch the show on YouTube, because unfortunately, like I say, I can't present. It's not allowing me to present what people are presenting. I'll have to do it on Skype. So, but this is something that Brandon's been working for the last 2.5-3 weeks. So I'm desperate to actually show his results, because I have a feeling that they're going to be quite excellent. So, Pete, go on, get your final word in about this.
Are you closing up Discord here?
No, I'm going to leave it open.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it open. I'll be back in the Discord in about 15 to 20 minutes. But if anybody wants to watch with us live and discuss it, I'll be on Skype. And if not, just stay in the call, and then I'll rejoin this call in about 15-20 minutes. The show will just keep going.
Okay, listen, let me tell you, I'll stay here, right? But I would have to regress my thinking to go back to what you're suggesting, because you have not taken into consideration that the extended span has been given back to us. So what appears to be the horizon is not actually the horizon. We know that the floor is water. So will water behave differently over an extended span, over Zoom? Well, of course it will. So that's my position that I realized in 2016. So I'd have to regress. So that's where I'm at.
I agree with you on that, though, Pete. I was going to jump into Randy before he said about that. Who you are not wrong, as in completely wrong. You have a valid point. That exactly that, and I followed that, Pete, and not followed it from you, but followed it from calculations, and thought, yeah, of course, water reflects, goes to a certain angle, it would reflect the sky. However, I went on Plain Truth's channel when he first started up. And there was a few bits in there, and I was telling him, nah, that's the water reflection, mate. And he was telling me, okay, here's the figures. Figure it out and tell me what it should be. I couldn't, just based on...
Forget about the figures. Bring an image.
No.
While Ranty is... Well, I'm not saying forget about him completely, right? But bring an image up while Ranty is doing his other presentation on Skype.
Well, it's Plain Truths, and he's driving.
So if anybody's... Listen, if anybody right now is open on Skype, I'm going to call the Skype group in about 10 seconds, right? So I'm going to put myself on mute in the show channel, and I'll see you all on Skype in a minute. See you in a sec. Right, let's get this Skype group going.
Hello.
Hello. Hey. How's it going? Who've we got in? Got Brandon. Brandon, excellent. That's the main man. The main man's here, right? Okay. Let us know when you want to present. Share your screen, and I'm so looking forward to seeing what you've been able to put forth.
Cool. I can start right now. Let me get the right file up to start with, and then I'll share.
No worries. You're off screen at the minute anyway, so nobody can see. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So to set the scene, you've created a density gradient inside the fish tank using sugar and water. Yes.
Yeah, so it's continuation of the stuff that both you and I had been working on before. And this time I set the tank up a little differently, and I'll show you the setup, but it did create a density gradient, much like the last time.
Okay.
And I got some interesting results. Come on, computer. Oh.
Technology, eh? I mean,
It
Discord.
just seems to happen every time I have to present on your show for some reason.
Yeah,
That I have an issue.
Don't worry, we're going to will it. Okay, everyone think.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Send me.
Send good wishes.
See, it's
Come
done.
on now. Oh, it's really puking on me. Let me try to close Discord real quick. I'll just close that out.
Yeah, no worries.
All right.
Sorry, I was thinking about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Don't cross the beams, whatever you do.
Okay, here we go. I figured out why it didn't work the first time, guys.
Right, no
I
worries.
was trying to open the wrong file. So now let me share my screen.
Okay, here we go. Dun, dun,
All
dun.
right, come on, Skype. Come on. Here we go. The anticipation is building.
It's a good job I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
We need to be doing this. Whoa. Come on, I'm running out of breath. There we go. And now.
Hang on.
All right.
There we
see my
go.
screen?
Boom. Right. Okay. Happy days. Yep. We're ready. Yes.
All right.
Go
cool.
ahead.
All right. Let me minimize this. I got the color wheel popping up. Hopefully this works out for us. All right. All right. So first I'm going to show you the setup. No. Oh.
Don't worry about it.
What has happened?
Nothing's happened.
Premiere's cool though.
Well, I guess I'll just talk you through this while I'm opening this up.
Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm so devastated that you've got that and I don't have it.
It's only 20 quid a month. It's only 20 quid a month, mate.
It's worth it. I use it all the time, and you get all the applications. It's the online one.
It's so good. It's what I did my I did my full honours degree using that stuff, so I was very familiar with that. I'd need a refresher course now, I think, though.
Yeah, it takes a while to pick all the stuff up. So the tank was the 2-foot tank, same one I used last time. It was 11.
Hang on. One sec.
What are you guys seeing?
No. I need to do a couple of shout outs, actually. I do need to thank Good Servant for smashing the super chat. Thank you very much. I know it's been a while ago and I completely forgot. And also some other dude, some guy, I can't remember his name now. Brandon Toya, he gave a super chat as well. So thank you very much for supporting the show. It is much appreciated and much needed. Thank you very much. Right, on you go.
All right. So you guys are seeing the presentation right now, I take it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so obviously I added 2 pounds of sugar every 24 hours. I took pictures every 24 hours. We're just going to look at the ones after the 6 pounds were added. But I do have all that other data that I'm still going through. And each time I added the 2 pounds, I waited 24 hours just to let the sugar completely dissolve in the water, because there had been quite a bit of discussion about that previously. Since when I took the photos the first time that I presented them, there was some whiteness that you could see on the bottom of the tank. There's no whiteness in this tank. You will notice, I got some other comments about this last time, that the water in my photos is hazy. I think that's just a product of the fish tank being old. Maybe the glass is a little foggy or something. It's not like there's a bunch of dirt in the water or something.
I'm sorry, I'm still just seeing methodology overview. Are you showing us the tank or the?
Yeah, that's fine.
No.
Yep.
No.
That's right.
Yep, you're seeing the right thing. Now I'm trying to open up this dang picture that I had open. You guys see how this is slowing down on me here?
To be honest, it looks like you've got a lot of things open. I mean, Premiere Pro is a very, very powerful
memory hungry, and
Yeah, very, very powerful thing. It takes up a lot.
Well, I had it closed. It's just I must have clicked it. See how it's moving back and forth like this? I clicked it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
I'll just go through the presentation. There it is. Now it pops up. What the ever loving hell? Okay, that'll work. Sorry, guys. So this is the setup, and you can see what I did this time was. Let me just rewind that. I used these Legos, which was a huge pain in the ass because they all had to be super glued and weighted down so they didn't float. But what it allowed me to do was to see the different layers. So each layer is a color. These are like half-inch Legos, right? I stacked them up on the back, 3 in a row like this, and then I've got a large tower here. And these are just weights right here, so it's not important. And then if you go to the middle, oh, that might be a better shot. You can see that there's a car right here. There's another little thing right there. Right, those are both in the center of the tank, and then towards the front of the tank.
Is that a dead fly as well?
Yeah, just smash my screen.
Yeah. That is a little dead fly. He's just taking a swim. Don't mind him. He didn't drink much water. And then there's a bridge. Obviously, you're going to see that on the left. What I was trying to do is see how this density gradient would impact a long, straight object, such as a bridge looking out over it. Now, it's only 2 feet, but there is some interesting stuff that we'll see here. So
can I just say that reminds me of some bridge that the Globers like to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they have a certain infatuation with a certain bridge. Can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's definitely. He can't hear.
So I wanted to take a look and kind of simulate a bridge. Let me go back to the presentation, then I'll play this video after we look at the pictures. Not much more to say about this. That's the methodology. No big changes. So here's what it looked like before. This was with no sugar.
Can you make that a bigger picture?
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect.
How's
You
that?
can see everything. You can see the floor, all the bricks at the bottoms.
Okay. Yep. We see.
Yep. And I put some rocks in the bottom this time so I could lift it above this black lip. So this is an uneven ground, which I thought kind of mimicked reality better.
Yep.
There's no huge humps in the rocks. There might be a little couple small piles here, but this is what you see from the camera view. It looks pretty uniform. All the sizes of the layers are fairly uniform. You can see all the bottoms. There's no compression. It's just a normal view through a fish tank full of water. The car looks pretty normal. You can see its tires sitting on there. So I'm going to toggle this, and we'll take a look at what it looked like with the 6 pounds of sugar dissolved in it and the density gradient, and see how it changes. So I'll do that just a couple times so you can get a good
I've seen it straight away. Squash.
feel for it. Yep. And there's a couple things about that squashing that you'll notice. Now, keep in mind, this is one specific camera angle. I'm going to show you some more angles when I play that video again.
That's really weird. It's like the bottom of the... Let me just get this right, but it would appear just to my eye, that the bottom of those Lego towers has disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, that is what it visually looks like at first. If you'll notice something, look at the top. You see the white, you see the pink, you see the red, and then you see this blob of color here. Especially on these back ones. Now watch when I toggle it out how far down that goes. So we can see these 3, and then we see just like a lump of yellow and white underneath it. And the pink is almost entirely unrecognizable.
And just to double check, Brandon, sorry, you did not move the camera up or down, because that's going to be a Globe Earther's perfect.
I can see that camera hasn't moved a smidge.
You can see because of the right hand side there.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify for the chat's sake.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I had the camera. I barely touched it. I just touched the on button and the zoom, and that was about it on that camera. I had it all marked, so just in case it did get bumped. But
Yeah,
Luckily,
that's what I did with mine. I drew around the base of it, so I knew that I could put it back on the same spot.
exactly. And you'll notice this car here has like squashed up the.
Wow! Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's it.
flattened out.
Bent round.
Look at that.
And
with
even this
Now, what's
perspective.
happening with that bridge? I wonder. It looks like it seems to be, is it? Because when you zoom, see, Sounder gets that effect when he zooms in right at the very end of the bridge. Have you noticed? It's not.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not. It's not
Like
close
bending up
up.
and down.
It's when he zooms right into the very end of it. Now you have to zoom in right to the very end of that, but that is showing this same effect, is it not?
Well, it kind of gives you the visual appearance that this is kind of curling out. Now, I've looked closely at this. I think this is the foot of the bridge because there's these feet that the bridge sits on and that weighs it down. But yeah, definitely gives it like this kind of curving effect. And I wish it was longer because I'd love to see what happened over 4 or 5 feet, a little bit longer. But it's definitely interesting. If you look at the bridge before, you can see how much it changed.
Yeah, let's start So does it ramp up?
Yep, it ramps up. So what this appears to be doing is it's looming everything up in the bottom. It's not looming the tops. It's looming everything up in the bottom. I'm just saying the word looming because.
But not behind. There's nothing being loomed up behind something else, though. It's just moving.
No.
It's like a kaleidoscope. So when you look through a kaleidoscope and you can twist it, and all the colours change, different patterns are produced, but nothing's being brought up from behind something else. All this is doing is just manipulating the stuff that you can see.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like bringing the bottom up at an angle and leaving the top alone, and it's squishing the bottom of everything. So the bottom right here is all squished.
Yeah.
And these tops are almost exactly the same. I've got another view, a side by side here.
It's just like my Stenoline boat then. So out of that narrow, I used to say, out of the narrow angle, everything stays the same. You can crop it out and you can look at it side by side, and there's, scale to width, it looks the same depth. But once you go into that critical angle, everything starts to get compressed.
Yeah, exactly. And if you think about, like, what is the scale of real life compared to this fish tank? Like, the density gradient in here really ramps up as you start to get lower. Like down at the bottom of these things right here, it's pretty dense gradient. How is it in reality? How do we interact with this density gradient? And this is uniform in the whole tank. Just imagine the density gradient across 10 miles or 20 miles where you've got this situation, then you've got a cold wind blowing in, then you're going to land where there's a completely different, thermal situation going on above the streets and below the buildings and whatnot, as opposed to the cold open ocean or the hot open ocean or whatever. So you've got these temperature changes and these density changes. What is happening to the light across there? That's what I wonder, and I wanted to show you something. Now, imagine you had.
Hold on, I need to retract something there. The car. Now, if you look at the blue ground on that, the blue ground is visible behind the car in the compressed version, but not in the original.
Oh, you're right. Yep, right here. Well, that's I was going to mention that. If you look at the bottom,
is it? So I'm just trying to think what it is. So it has to be. It is, yeah, because the car has moved position too, so it's gone higher from on the left position. It's lower down. The wheels of it. You can look where they are. That orange band should be a lot lower than that. The last line. Yeah. So if you go down to the bottom of the car, that's quite low down in the image. But then if you go across to the right hand side, can you see how much that's been pushed up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This has been pushed up, but you're right.
But it only pushes it at that where you get that sort of inferior mirage, isn't it?
Well, that's what I was going to show you here. So you're talking about in the real world.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's not an inferior mirage in my fish tank, but just imagine that you've got that inferior mirage band somewhere around here, or the ether band. And it's essentially just blocking everything at the bottom because that's the most dense or moist, or that's where the mirage is happening. So it's compressing the bottom, and then in the same general area, you're getting this miraging band that's partially or completely blocking things depending on how far they are. And it's going to look like a good portion of whatever's in the distance is just gone. So that's one possibility, one hypothesis that seems to make sense to me. But yeah, this is interesting too, because you can look at the white tops. If you look at the white, they go from the white to the pink.
Yeah.
The color of the line is the color of the Lego. The white is almost unchanged.
So if
the pink is almost unchanged.
That blue could be representative of water, then. When you see Fata Bromosas.
Yeah, I don't remember what a Fatum Bromosa is, but
a Fata Bromosa is the water rising up. So it's like the water's being loomed up. Well, in this case, this is exactly what we'll look at. It would appear that the water has cut off the bottom of those buildings in the background, but that's not the case.
No, that's not the case.
But it would look like, to the layman, it would look like the water has cut the bottom of those buildings off in the distance. But in reality, it's nothing of the sort. This is amazing. This is amazing.
Especially low visibility right here, that you couldn't make anything out, or the front was loomed up more than the background where these buildings are. And if there's differential looming or proximal looming, then absolutely it's going to cover the bottom of the building.
So I apologize because I had to take care of some business here, but the way that you have the image on the right seems to support my statements that when we do have proximate looming, that's the condition through which we're looking. I mean, it's got the same distortion through the medium. So on the left, you've got a lot of clarity, but on the right, you've got distance, right? Because again, I'm sorry, I'm coming in right now. Is the left and the right taken from the same position?
Yeah, exact same position. Yeah.
Right. So you've got a stretching out of the distance and the floor. And that's exactly what happens with what I've been calling proximate looming. That's exactly what happens.
Well,
Wide Awake's got it. Ranty's got it. I've got it.
The floor's ramping up. The floor's right. It's a Fata Brimosa of the ocean. How many times have we seen those different coloured bands on the water? We've always wondered what they are.
This.
Yeah.
To be honest, that looks more like a wave, though. To be honest, that one in the background. But yeah, similar. Yeah, something that's blocking. Yeah, exactly what you're saying, though. That, to be honest, to me, looks like a swell wave, big swell wave. But
yeah, you might be right. Yeah,
but it's the same sort of effect. It's exactly the same sort of effect. You'd see the water blocking something off in the distance, and they would say that's due to earth curve. But you've been able to recreate that same ramping up. You've been able to recreate what you could class as a wave in covering up the bottom of those buildings just through a density gradient. And what's given it added sort of validity is the fact that you've got that compression right at the very bottom, which probably turns into an inferior mirage.
That's the most interesting part to me, is that the top is almost completely untouched.
Yeah.
But the bottom is squished all hell. I mean, look at this. This is white, pink. You can almost make out like this is pink and red squished. It just gets more and more compressed as you go down. Then you've got almost one, two.
This is amazing work.
Three whole bands that.
This is amazing work. This is what you observe in reality.
Mm-hmm.
On days when you've got, when swell and everything like that are not a factor, when they're not a factor, and you're just looking over an incredibly long distance. And you see these bottom of the buildings are missing, you've got a direct line of sight to these on the right hand side. You have a direct line. Let me show this to the audience. All this is a direct line of sight to these, right? But what's happened is the ground has ramped up on the right hand side. It's Fata Brimosa, and the compression with this Fata Brimosa gives the appearance of a water blockage, a physical water blockage cutting off the bottom of those buildings. when it's nothing of the sort. It's just a density gradient change that's causing this. This is absolutely fantastic work, Brandon. I didn't expect it to be so
brilliant.
good. I didn't expect it to be,
thanks, man.
this good. This is absolutely sensational. This is globebuster worthy.
Cool,
Can I
man.
ask a question, Brandon? I love this. I love this. This is exactly. But you know the squares in the background, the black and white squares. Is that thing movable? Is it like a picture?
Yeah, it's pasted behind. It's like 3 or 4 feet behind the fish tank on the wall.
Yeah. Now, what I would argue, or could argue, is look at the spacing in between the lines. I reckon the lower you get, the more magnification happens, which is another thing that you've shown there. If you see the black line, even though it's murky and mistied up, it looks or appears smaller than the next one up.
I think that's just a trick of your eye there, Gleam. I don't think there's that much.
In.
Yeah, I don't think there's that much difference at all. It could be to be honest, I'm not seeing it, and I've got pretty good eyesight.
Try it. This shows you. Oh, it looks like I moved one of the pictures. Hold on.
I know what you're saying, Ranty. It's like whitewashing the edges.
Yeah.
See, Gleam, it doesn't move that much.
Yeah, it just, to me, it looks like it's just like the sugar has stuck to the tank. You can see that anyway on the inside on these images. You can see those dots that are in that's sugar that's stuck to the side of the tank. I had to clean mine off, but I know why Brandon didn't do that, because he didn't want to disturb the setup inside the tank. And I think that's just what's happened, is that you're looking through that crystallization.
Yeah, I will say that what's his name? The Action Lab. The Action Lab done a similar thing. I've presented it on here before with a laser and whatnot, but he had magnification in the back. The tiles all went all magnified at the bottom bit. So all I was going to ask Brendan, obviously, if you're doing this ever again, to put that actual picture down. So
put this down. So
yeah, but to be honest
target.
though, Gleeman, I don't take this the wrong way, but that is also not inside the tank. That's behind the tank. Now, there was a problem with that for me as well, because the objects I was trying to view for the first time I did this were outside the tank.
Okay.
So that
let me explain my reasoning. Let me explain my reasoning. The sun.
Right.
Okay, the sun is outside the atmosphere. We're looking through the atmosphere, and a common thing is, why doesn't the sun shrink? And it could be counter-reacted by the atmosphere enlarging it. So that was just
all right. Okay, I see where you're going with that.
Definitely does it magnify, and that's how it would act.
Well, if you had a big hallway, if you had a really long hallway that you could perform this in, you could actually do that, and you could just move it further away and just see what would happen if it sort of remagnified it. Yeah, that's a good thing. But I have to say, Brandon, what you've done so far, this is just amazing work. This is the best thing I've seen in the past couple of years, I have to say.
Wow. Well, thanks, man.
It's true, definitely.
Well, let me play
there's a lot.
Video.
There's a lot to it. Yeah, there is absolute gold.
I knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to give good results. I didn't think they'd be this conclusive. Because the Globers always say that, look, there's water blocking off the bottom of that building, and
Should we do press 1 in the chat if you think that's Earth curve?
Yeah, there's Earth curve in the tank.
Let's see how many religious people we got in tonight.
Yeah, press 1 if you think that this is fantastic work done by Brandon. Press 2 if you think he is not giving fantastic work and it's still a globe. Well, we know what's going to happen.
We'll hear about it.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure we'll hear about it.
Yeah. They'll be looking to try and find faults. But can we have a look at the bridge? I want to see what happened with the bridge.
Yeah. I wanted to show this video, Ranty.
Sure,
this shows
that's fine. Yeah.
the angle of the bridge, and it shows how it changes as you go from higher to lower. So it takes the whole angle to account. So watch the bridge, how it changes, and watch these buildings, especially in the back, how they change as I get lower.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see.
Now, do you see that bridge?
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that ramp.
That's definite earth curve.
The rampy curve. Now, where have I seen that before?
Now zoom in.
I got it from the right side too, but look at these buildings in the back, especially this one. Look at how squished that looks.
This is amazing work, Brandon. It really is. I've got to say, it's fantastic. We've got lots of ones going, by the way. Lots of ones going in the chat. Very few twos. I think the Globers are actually
thanks, guys.
very. I think they're very dumbstruck at the minute by what you've been able to show. I think even the Globers have to admit that this is pretty good results. And if they don't, they're just idiots.
I see you, Aaron. Here, let me watch this building here in the back, Ranty, as I get lower. How it just looks like it sinks right into the ground.
Oh yeah. Is that because the ground is slightly? Is that because on that part there, it looks to me like the ground is slightly higher, where you sprinkled some blue like rocks on the ground, and then what's happening is I think that's the densest layer because it's higher up. You know, it'll have the sugar on that part that's higher up, so it's exponentially increasing the compression rate on that particular hill, like on that little hill, because that'll be the ground for it, you know. Whereas the buildings on the right, you know, they'll be lower down because they're not on a hill. Yeah.
Maybe, but that would be kind of like waves too. No, just watch it one more time.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
See that? And
yeah.
Look at how tiny these guys get here.
Yeah.
And then it'll go over to the other side, and you can see a different angle of the bridge. Also, I just want to let everybody know I did do laser tests to test for the density gradient after each of the pictures I took. So rest assured, there is a density gradient. Now watch that bridge. See that?
Yeah.
Now just watch the angle as that angle of that bridge changes, and it gets curved, and all kinds of stuff happens.
Oh, this is very Soundly-esque, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see how it kind of fades off into a point.
Yeah.
Ramps up. Now, it's not exactly like those Soundly pictures, but you could definitely see where a density gradient could give you the impression that something is curving off into the distance, especially as it disappears into the Fata Morgana or density.
Yeah, this is really good. I mean, I have a feeling that if you put a little standalone video on this, or you know, you're able to, and I know that people like Gleam will run with it because this is just the Globers I don't think have got a response for this right now for sure.
100%.
This demonstrates.
Yeah, I might even just clip this out, Ranty.
Perfect.
The only thing they'll say is, "There's no sugar in the air." It's the only thing they can say because you're just replicating. But then again, when Mick West done his one, it was all yeah. That proves that it's a globe with sugar solution. But as soon as a flat earther shows the opposite, it's no. There's no gradient anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now, when I'm going up and down, Chris Matt had a good point that I am changing my viewing angle. That was the purpose of this video here. The standalone ones were to see how it changed over time, but I just wanted to see how you could change what you're looking at by changing your viewer height and how that impacted with the density gradient. I think these videos show that pretty well, that you can get different effects depending on where you are in relation to what's going on in the atmosphere.
And the higher up you go, you'll get to that same angle though. You know, down below, there'll be a certain angle that you get to where you see all these effects, and you'll still get to that angle no matter how high you go. Eventually, you'll get to that angle.
Yep.
Have you ever seen Soundly's elevator footage? Because that's exactly what you just replicated there.
Yeah.
He hid the background objects by just going down.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and that is another possible explanation for what you see in that video, because as you go down, that compression is happening, and then the objects are obscured at the bottom by the water mirror layer, perhaps, or the air mirror layer, whatever the hell is going on there.
Or a combo punch.
Combo, both, yeah.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah. So I just clipped out some stuff, some one-offs. I think these were a couple days later. You can tell that the tank's getting dirty.
Wait there though. Is that bit of bridge, let's say, is the bit of track, does that curl down first a little bit? Can you see it here? Oh no, it's because it bends outwards, doesn't it? Yeah, that's why.
It bends a little at the beginning. Here's what it looks like without the sugar in it.
It is just bending. It's not directly 90 degrees up. It's bending slightly out.
Yeah.
At both sides to keep the cars on, obviously.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah. So anything like that is accentuated and will give you different effects afterwards. So you can see how those kind of transform. I'll get rid of this.
Yeah, get rid of that blue thing. Yeah.
I just love that car. That car is ultimate. That's funny. It's like, oh, you can only see the roof. Brenda would be saying, "Where'd the bottom of the car go?"
Well, yeah, where's the wheels? Where's the wheels gone? Where's the wheels? Why can't we see the wheels?
Exactly.
This is.
Yeah. So if there's water splashing around
fantastic
here,
work.
like a wave.
Hey, Ranty, I just sent you a double panel just by way of, if you are interested, you can show what I was saying before about the proximate looming conditions and how it gives you a medium that looks blurred. What I would just rather say is distorted. But if you want to share it,
Where did you send it to me? In Skype?
Skype.
Right,
Yeah.
I'll have a look in a minute. Yeah.
The panelists.
Yeah.
So that's it. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah. Did you get Rumpus to do a diagram? That is the ultimate question.
No, but maybe I should ask him. Anybody know what he charges?
Well, no, he will refer back to the same document and say he's already done it.
Okay, all right.
If you just imagine this lighthouse floating in the air, the ground meets up to it and makes the Earth appear flat.
Well, marks out of 10, guys, in the chat. Give us a mark out of 10 for Brandon here. 1 being poor, 10 being excellent. Let's see what the panelists call. Well, let's see what the chat thinks of your presentation. Right. So Travis is right. Just to show okay. So let's bring this across. This is for what Brandon's wanting me to present. So I'll just share my screen. Have you finished presenting now, Brandon?
Yep, I'm good. Thanks, Ranty. Thanks, everybody.
Can I just say one last thing, Brandon? 100%. I don't think you realise what you've just done there, though. You have just debunked Aristotle, even though we knew that he couldn't see ships disappearing bottom up going over a curve. You've just shown it that it can disappear bottom up going over a flat.
Yeah,
Well, that would be awesome.
Brandon, it's you have really done it.
So
cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So this is Brandon. This is Travis.
Yep. So just by way of contrast, on the left we have a clear image with a limited horizon, and then on the right we've got an extended horizon where you can see farther, and it looks like I have elevated my position so that I can see farther, but I haven't. So we've got an extension of the horizon past the oil platform, but again, the medium that we're looking through is a lot more distorted. If you wanted to see to the left, you've got crisp lines, you've got less distortion around all of those things, but it's a lot more distorted on the right. So I just thought that was a similar presentation.
He's showing what you're saying about Ranty about the colours, though. You see how it's darker in the middle? Darker at the foreground.
Yeah,
you've got
lighter, then darker.
Aquabands. Yeah, aquabands. Yep.
Yep, we got all them. This is really good. I'm so pleased that that you've done this. I'm so pleased that you've done this, Brandon, and you've been so dedicated to actually put so much time and effort into that. You need a real big round of applause. Real big round of applause.
Oh, I appreciate that, Randy.
Yeah,
I do. I appreciate that, man.
Well, I just know what, having that tank around all day and having to film it, it's in the way as well. So as much as anything else, your family's got to go around it and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate all the stuff that, probably a lot of people don't don't have that same appreciation for. But it's really good work. Really good
what
stuff.
you also... Well, you are right about that. I had my nephews and nieces down for a week. And I am super gluing these Legos together and filling this fish tank. Like, what are you doing? And they're like, 8 and 10. So they wanted to touch everything. And it was like a constant struggle for me to keep them away from the camera. Like every time I left the room, I'd say, don't go by the fish tank.
No, these are my toys. You don't play with them.
And it'd be stressful as well, it would be. And you've got to do it really sort of religiously every 24 hours. You've got to go and put more sugar in. You've got to measure it all out. You've got to make sure that you sprinkle it perfectly. You've got to take the images. It feels like it would be a full-time experiment. So I definitely, I have a lot of appreciation for what you had to do. And the chat agrees as well. You got quite a few 10s there, so that's pretty cool.
Hey, just one last comment on the panel that I sent you. If you did look at the image on the right, it dropped.
Right. Yes, it did. Yeah.
And it was compressed.
Right. Let's get back to Discord then and see what people are saying over there. Right. I'm going to hang up on here, guys. I'll meet you back over in on the Discord channel. Yeah. Everyone's disappeared already.
Cool, sounds good. Yep.
See you over there in a sec. And we're back. Back in the Discord. Did you guys get to see that?
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. No one else is answering.
No one else. They're probably just catching up. They're probably still on YouTube.
Watch page, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that. To be honest, I knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be good. I didn't think it would be quite that good. Blown away. Actually, it's surprising that it's exactly the opposite to what you would, people like Rumpus would be arguing for, which is that it would be loomed up, etc., etc. We don't get to see that. Everything that's below the eye line, everything beneath that eye line. Yes.
Are you watching the chat? Because apparently we've misunderstood, and this is all just debunking flat Earth.
Oh, is it? Right. Okay. So.
Yeah. If you look at the chat, these guys are losing their minds right now.
Of course they would. They've got no other option to say, this is globe Earth proof. This. Yeah. Showing that you can actually disappear stuff from the bottom up. Definite globe Earth proof on a flat surface.
Yeah, because what they're going to try and do, now is they're going to try and take Brandon's observation and Brandon's test, and they're going to wrap it around a ball first. So they're going to take his flat surface that he had the observation all done with. They're going to wrap it around a ball, right? And then they're going to say, well, if it was wrapped around a ball and you did that same thing, it would be loomed up. And things would be loomed up in the distance. That's what they're going to turn around and say. Whereas what's just been demonstrated here is that, you don't need any globe, you just need a flat surface to recreate what we see in reality.
Yeah, the top didn't move up. They say that it all moves up like the Chicago skyline. The whole thing moved up, didn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't just the top bit stretched up or anything like that, and the top bit in Brandon's was same identical height.
Yeah.
It was only the bottom bit that come up to the top.
That's the thing that impresses me most, is that there's this extreme compression at the bottom, and the top is like almost dead on where it was.
Oh, I like how it's changed onto me now. So Dave Blake says, listen to Ranty, he is false, man. Poe for money. Okay. Yeah, smash the super chat, mate. Yeah, Dave Blake. I can do with some extra money right now. I'm pretty skint, so please, yeah, smash that super chat, mate. Yeah, I'm really a Poe that's been doing this for the last 5 years. Yeah, really a Poe, because we've just smashed it out of the park, mate. Smashed it out of the park. And it all started, 5 weeks ago, would you say? Are you there, actually, Brandon? Yeah, it was about 5 weeks ago. when we first did the fish tank. And
you got the ball rolling, and I on a lark just ran out and found a used fish tank. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
And this is what happens. You see, when the globe heads poke us,
fish tanker.
Huh?
That's soon to be the new insult, right? Fish tank. Oh, you're one of them fish tankers, aren't you?
Operation
Lab and Mick
Fishbowl.
West.
Fish tank Earth. Yeah. But listen, we've suspected this and we've talked about it and we've tried to explain it to the Globers, and then you actually do a demonstration and you're able to demonstrate it, and suddenly now it's a globe Earth proof. You couldn't make it up.
I'd like to ask the globe earthers, they've just literally witnessed something disappear bottom up without there being a curve.
They sure did.
What do they believe, or why do they believe that can never happen on an Earth? Why can't it upscale?
You're probably in the best position to answer that, Liam, from a globe perspective.
Well, I'm shutting my mouth just purely
because then they got to admit they're wrong. That's why.
That's the best they can do, though. I guess they can't do anything at all, really, can they? As usual.
They can call you names, though. They're good at that.
Well, of course, the thing they're going to say is you're not equating like with like, and you're talking about what we're seeing through a sugar solution, very limited range. So that's about all they can say, right?
But that would debunk every single close experiment. I mean, Erebus has done hundreds, and even accused Travis of lying, saying that he's moving his camera up and down.
Yeah.
and this observation that Brandon's done backs up Travis. So then it's not just Travis saying, no, I definitely didn't, I know I'm there. Because now Brandon has shown, and because of that black strip at the bottom, that's a good reference guide. So you can see.
That is a great point, Gleam. That is a really good point, because every time Travis shows those pictures, they say, "Oh, you must have moved you don't know how to work your friggin' camera and all that crap."
Oh, I love this. Hold on. I love this from Jose. Jose JG says, Gleam, nothing is proven with fish tanks. Boom. Okay, tell that to Mick West.
And
Erebus. And Erebus.
And Erebus. Yeah, he's been presented on your show, Jose. Why did he present a fish tank on your show, mate?
Oh dear, Jose.
Why did you let him? And not just interrupt him and say, this doesn't prove anything, shut up.
Nom, 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 Erebus. Nom, nom, nom,
Can't do that. Videos calling me a liar. I don't know what he thought I lied about the last fish tank experiment. I couldn't quite figure it out. But he's definitely calling me a liar.
You are a liar, because obviously that fish tank is curved. It has to be.
You can't think, he says, you can't think everything in small scale will work different in big scale. You can't. No, we didn't say that. We didn't say that we don't think everything in small scale will work different in big scale. We say that everything you can scale in the small scale will work the same in the big scale. Well done, Jose. You got it spot on, mate.
Called a prototype proof of concept. And it's based on a gradient. It can be a gradient of gas, as they show with the old. I mean, the globe earthers use that one. Look, we can spray this liquid helium or whatever they do on it, and it brings these Lego blocks behind the back from a curve. Yeah, same thing.
Remember, they can't prove refraction without water and a cup of sugar shit. So fine, you want to throw it out? They don't have refraction. You don't have refraction. You don't have looming. We see the object where it is. Earth is in a ball of the size. So their funeral.
Yeah, but they can't produce. Right, they can manipulate the image. The image can be moved around from position to a different position. You can literally jumble things around like you would do in a kaleidoscope. But you can't demonstrate things looming up from behind something else. You can't get a mound. You can't get a mound or a hill and have something loomed up behind it.
Bowlers say what they see as well. All of these images presented to our vision need decoding. So once we have the extended span back, It's interesting with Brandon's test there that, well, my own thoughts, I've been saying it, when we look at an extended span and a scenario presented to us, different sense of perspective applies along the ground to the target, because we have to sort of take into account everything there. But whereas we're looking directly at something, there'll be a minimal distortion, and where we noticed the distortion in the sugary fish tank there was at a certain point. So once again, though, everything needs to be decoded. And if you think the thickness of that fish tank, what is 3 feet? I think you're looking over a span of what you presented something 29 miles there earlier on, Ranty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of these things have to be taken into consideration, sort of collectively.
Yeah, one thing I haven't done is sitting down, and I don't know if it's worth the effort to try to calculate, what the density of the fish tank is versus what range of atmosphere
Right.
that would be, looking over. It might be worthwhile for someone to do, but it's just like I think Right Hand put it well, or it's just a proof of concept. It just shows that something is possible within the density gradient that they've been telling us isn't possible, and then
Right.
you combine that with the other effects of the atmosphere, and that is an alternative hypothesis for what we see. Things are not as simple as they keep telling us.
Exactly.
Period.
And this super chat sort of, well, I'll read it out first, but it is talking about lapse rate, and I'll get to that in a minute. But it says, this is Esteban Ilavanca says, Gleam, with refraction, you can do anything. Just look at mirages. The problem you have is that obstruction can't happen under normal atmospheric conditions with known lapse rate. Light won't do that. Well, as just been explained here, that was a 2-foot fish tank, right? And we do observations from 10 miles and upwards, 10, 15, 20, 30 miles, right? And, the amount of gradient that was put into that tank wasn't a huge amount. And when you space that out over those great distances and you equalize it, these things can very easily happen. Lapse rate shouldn't be a problem, I don't think.
The lapse rate, the actual figures he's on about, is a 10-degree differential. So you're talking, I mean, the water itself could be, let's say, 10 degrees, and then you've got the sun coming out, heating up the air above the water at 20 degrees. There you have it. I mean, he's made a valid point, definitely, but how are you going to know? I mean, how are you going to be able to differentiate yourself between the flat Earth and the globe version without actually using the actual physical scale instead of putting it
No,
in
you
fish
don't
tank?
understand.
Of course, it's got to be Earth curve.
But
Well,
then it comes down to our senses. Everything is telling us that we're not moving. Everything is telling us this. Everybody's telling us that we're not
Right.
spinning, right, and we're not moving, right. But they're telling us that we are. And then when it comes to the point of what's the difference between the two, well, it's quite obvious. We aren't spinning, and the pictures from space are fake. We know this. Nobody went to
And
the
if you
moon.
decide we're spinning, then you get the universe that's presented to us. Everything stems from that. This was always said it. Everything begins and ends there. The Earth is always assumed to move. If that Earth doesn't move, then the universe transforms. That's why none of these ballers like the question, when was it first proven scientifically to move? Because it's never been. Because it doesn't, right? And then, no, let me just say this, as I said so many
See,
times.
wait,
Based on our
wait,
universal, one thing we'll all agree on, our
wait.
universal experience with
I'll
water.
just
Once we decide the Earth isn't moving, then the ball wouldn't enter our minds as a possibility, because we all know and share a universal experience with water, and that is flat when still at atmospheric
see. Sometimes
normal
speed is
standard temperature and
genius.
pressure.
Sometimes.
It's finished there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They decide. Let me just say, they decide that it does move, and then everything else is sort of constructed based on that, up to the composition of the furthest nebula away. So
Let me
it's
respond
great.
to WS in chat. He said, you said that wasn't much refraction in the tank. I said that in relation to it, right, if you look at the volume of water that was in the tank, did you get a measurement of how many litres there was in that, Brandon?
It's 11 and a quarter gallons, whatever that is in.
11 and a quarter gallons and 6 pounds of sugar.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a huge amount. That's basically, I would say that's not far off a can of Coke, the amount of sugar that's in a can of Coke.
It's about 50 liters, I think.
50 liters is the volume. Yeah.
That's quite a lot of sugar, actually.
Well, no,
No,
I
thought
wouldn't
that
have
was
thought
the volume
so.
of the water, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was kilograms of sugar. So he put in 2 key at a time, didn't you?
No, it was pounds.
Oh, pounds. Sorry, pounds.
Yeah. Was it pounds,
Yeah,
Brandon?
6 pounds. 6 pounds.
6 pounds of sugar.
6 pounds in total.
And how many?
6 pounds for 50 liters.
And 50 litres. That's not a lot. That's less than Coca-Cola. I'm sure of it. I might be wrong.
2 to 3 bags of sugar. It's a kilogram in each bag, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's 2.72 is 6 pounds.
Yeah, it's not a lot of sugar.
2.5 bags in.
See how much? So how many pounds? 6 pounds in 50 litres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite low.
I would say it's quite low. Yeah.
That's less than half of what's in Coke.
Hey, I was right. Hey.
But you know, what do I know? I just flip hamburgers for a living. So anyway, there you go. That's my bit. Now I'm driving, guys, so I'll go back on mute.
So less than Coca-Cola, less than what was in Coca-Cola.
Less than half.
Less than half. Yeah, in just a 2-foot tank, and we do observations of many miles. So I would say that, you know, if you equalised it out and you averaged it out over the same, yeah, it's not a great difference. It really isn't. This has just been scaled up, obviously, because it's, well, as best we could in a 2-foot tank. Really good stuff.
Yeah, how else are you going to simulate, you know, what happens over long distances in any kind of way if you don't have a more saturated medium than the larger medium? You know, if you scale down the medium and you scale down the length, you'll end up with a saturated medium. So yeah, it's not exactly analogous to what happens in the real world, but it is a density gradient. That's what you guys keep talking about, and that's what you base all your. We understand refraction. We have a very good understanding of refraction, and all that bullshit is similar experiments in the lab. So stop talking out of both sides of your mouth.
Esteban Ilabanca's given another super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat. He says, Gleam, the fact is that... Hang on, wait a minute. It's just scrolled up. The fact is that refracted light just won't allow for the effect seen on a fish tank on normal conditions. You need to demonstrate the gradient required happens in reality, and it doesn't.
Because reasons.
Yeah, can he give us a demonstration of what he's given us word salad for? Can he have us?
Okay.
Can he show us a demonstration of that?
Well, he says that that there's this gradient. The gradient that's required doesn't happen in reality. Okay, so let's turn it back on you and say we have a pressurized system, and in your model, the gas pressure gets less and less and less and less and less till you get to the very last part, and then the very last part is right next to the vacuum of space, right? So obviously there's a gradient there. Am I right or am I wrong here, guys? There's a gradient in their model, and there's also a density gradient in their model. It's denser at sea level than it is higher up, because that's where all the gases are, you know. So how can what has been demonstrated here, which has been put in a density gradient at the bottom of the tank and getting less higher up, why would that not be comparable to reality? I don't understand that, because this is the whole point that I was arguing with the rumpus 6 months ago on this show, and he was telling me that light on a flat plane, well, he originally actually got 3 of them to all admit it, that the light would bend down. That's what they said. And then
Why don't you join? Get him to join. He can show his evidence. I'd love to see his evidence.
Mm-hmm. Dave Blake says that I'm wrong, and I'm always wrong. Thank you very much for the comment. But yeah, you're welcome to join. Let's see if I can get a Discord link in case any of these guys fancy coming on. Invite people. Yeah, I can't do it now. Yeah, my Discord is playing up. So you can join the server though. You can jump in, talk to us about this. I want to understand where you're coming from. Tell us why this is wrong, because we're all here for the research, you know.
think more of his point is you need to now calculate that exact density. No, that's the proof of concept, the prototype. It shows that it does happen. Now it's how much it happens. But how are you going to test that as in reality when it changes so often? Should we just get 100 photos that Plain Truthers took and apply that to every single one? Because every single one's going to be different.
Well, they already know this because they...
No. We just take the one photo that supports our model, and that's it.
Well, they also can't demonstrate scientifically their globe. They can't do that.
Science doesn't prove things.
Exactly. They can't prove it. So now they want us to try and use science to prove this? Well, no, it is a proof of concept. I would throw it back at them and say, now, with this proof of concept for why we see things obscured from the bottom up, we would ask you to perhaps maybe use a fish tank to show us a demonstration that shows Earth curve doing the same, with the same density gradient. You know, make things a little like Brandon did, and try and recreate it as a globe.
And a little less of what Bill Nye did with his little stupid model going over the curve.
That was so funny.
He had no gradient.
Yeah, that was funny. Actually, WS is part of my server, so he can just click the link and join. I would like to talk to WS, actually. I've not... don't think he's been on the show before, has he?
Yeah, I think
so. He's been popping on Jose's lately.
Oh, has he? All right. Well, just click the link. It's show channel in the voice channels on my server, WS. So, yeah, hop on in, mate.
He's been on the scene for years, and he's just another neggy one that would just disagree with it. He's just like that Blakey guy in the chat. No, you're wrong.
Yeah, we're waiting, WS. We're waiting.
You tell him the sky's blue and you'd argue with him.
I would argue with you on that one, Flat Earth Phantom.
What colour is it at night,
sure
though?
You would, Pete.
What colour is it at daytime, Ranty, when you go up to 60,000 feet?
I should have said
it's
metaphorically.
Yeah.
I love that meme that you just put up there, though, with the NASA hanging and saying on suicide watch. That's funny.
Well, it was nice.
The point is, all the bowlers have is curvature. You know, they just cannot sway from that. And as we know, there are many other factors involved that they can't really take into consideration. Once something is disappearing from the bottom up, that's over the horizon. Any of the other anomalies loom, they have to put down to fantastical explanations for refraction, looming, you name it, like, you know. And once again, let me just say, thought experiment, putting yourself on a spinning ball, because it's not real. It's not real. And therefore, well, it's either a big joke or the word there, metaphor. I say it's all metaphor. The lie is built on the truth. So it's therefore decoding, like all of these images we see. Finally, yeah, ballers say what they see. Oh, it looks like the boat is going over the curve because it's disappearing, half it's gone. Therefore, it has to be a curve. But they don't take these different influencing factors into account and, you know, mull everything over with a genuine mind.
Hey, Jose's in the chat. So, you know, there's a few flat earthers that are not happy with the way you're moderating your show, and you do pride yourself on being a very open to everybody format over there. But it seems that a lot of people are telling me that you're going back on that now, and it seems that you're just becoming more of a
I'm a channel
globe
member
earth.
there, and I don't even watch the show anymore.
He's reverting to being a bum, right?
Yeah, so, you know, Jose, maybe you want to hop on and just talk to some of the guys on here that are actually in the panel right now, because they're a little bit cheesed off and boycotting your show at the minute for some reason. I haven't been following it to see it, but they're not happy with the way you're running things over there, and, you know, if you want your show to continue, you might have to book your ideas up, mate. So maybe you want to hop in and just have a chat with them and find out what the hell's been going on.
I will say that's immense, Ranty, because I unsubscribed to him earlier because he blocked me, because you all know Larry Letter you.
Oh yes, yeah.
You've all heard that name and that guy on the Jose's. He literally, we were talking in a discussion about Pauli's exclusion principle, okay, and he got something wrong. And because he got something wrong, he decided to hunt me down all over the internet, come into my inbox on Facebook and start talking about my kids. Okay. Now I've blocked him on everything. He's got 3 different troll accounts or something, or even hundreds more. But I've literally blocked him, and he keeps on setting up a new account, coming speaking to me on one of these troll accounts, and then all of a sudden letting go that it was about that PEP, Pauli exclusion principle, and letting me know that it's him. Now, when I literally, I've been blocked for, been timed out, let's say, by Jose himself for literally saying, you're a troll account. You were the guy that trolled my kids. And then, of course, I get all the other globe earthers reporting me back to Jose saying, he's talking about him stalking his kids. And I get blocked for exposing a troll with a sock account who's going around the internet trolling my kids, saying, cute
Sounds like
kids.
globe mentality.
It's crazy. So I was just like, he does it twice. So he done it once about 2 months ago. Same thing. Laurie had a completely separate another troll account doing the same thing again. He kicked me out then, so I was just like, okay, cool. No, respect. He doesn't want anything about kids on there. And then again, I literally just lever it down and say, Lowry, stop hiding behind all these sock accounts just because I'm blocking you. And straight away, just because I've put evidence up there of him admitting actually it's poor taste and I did apologize, but I know that's not going to resolve it. Yeah, but Jose just immediately, Gleam, that's not on, ban. So I'm just like, I've had enough of this. Considering when I go in there, I get literally about 10 to 50 people having a go at me straight away. Bang, 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 bang. And I handle it. And I don't swear, I don't do anything out of the normal. But when you bring my kids into it, I've got to lay into you. And Jose obviously saw it as the opposing thing, as in all these globe earthers saying, Gloom's accusing him falsely of doing this. And either way, I've unsubscribed. I did like Jose's channel, to be honest, and I love Jose as a person. But I ain't having that.
He
Now,
did make
Jose's
his
I don't like
comment.
Jose. Yeah, he
St.
banned me from
Alley
his.
and you doxed people. That's not true.
He says
Jose's a
that
piece of garbage.
he says they think they can just overtalk people, call people paedophiles, dox people, swear. I don't
Hey,
allow that.
Randy.
He says,
Oh,
yeah.
hold up right there. I've never heard anybody from Jose's side refer to the P word about anybody.
No, he was talking about me.
Yeah, they say Nathan Thompson's a pedophile all the time. So shut your fucking mouth, bro. There are a bunch of pedos over there, man.
True.
Jose, let me tell you something
true.
about Jose. Here, this true story about Jose. Hang on. Okay, you can.
You write the hand.
Yeah, hang on. Let me tell you a story.
Touching little boys, didn't you?
Yeah, let me tell you a story. So I was at this is why Jose banned me. So I was over at Jose's doing, bringing the truth to his little shithole. And I'm talking to somebody, right, Erebus or one of these morons. So he's saying, oh, what's an electromagnet? I was like, I don't know. I've never seen one. Tell me what it is, right? So that's his game. So he starts calling me a liar. This guy is just going, you're a liar, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sitting there. Jose says nothing. So I'm like, okay, well, if he knows, he can see into my head, right? So I'm going to look into his head. So if you know I'm a liar, then I know you're a pedophile, right? So yeah, so then I get booted. Oh, so it's fine and dandy for ballers to throw around calling people liars and calling people this. If you're going to say I'm a liar and then ask me if I'm a pedophile and I say no, you're going to be like, look, he's a liar. He's lying about that. So don't start personal bullshit in a discussion unless you want personal bullshit to be the discussion. And if you want personal shit to be the discussion, I'm going to say that you're a satanic pedophile. That's why you push the ball earth. So if you want to go personal, we can. So this is why I say Jose is a piece of garbage. His show is shit, and you're backing up a piece of garbage because you are a piece of garbage too.
What does pedophile have to do with fucking earth?
I'll tell you. It has to do with them telling you how everything is. So if they can convince you that the earth is a ball and there's people upside down under your feet, they'll convince you that pedophiles is sexual orientation like homosexuality or lesbianism.
Yeah. Randy, I'm not sitting on this panel with this.
See you later, bro.
See ya, bro. See you later.
once you expose their
Bit of a truth
pedophile
overload
agenda,
there.
their little agenda, they get the fuck out of here, bro. Yo, they're pushing bullshit, bro. They push lies, and once somebody calls them out on their lies, they're like, yo, get him out of there.
Yeah,
I thought the P word was pigger.
Well, it seems to me that, and this is just from an outside, well, kind of an outsider's, because I haven't really been following what's going on too much with these lot. But as soon as we really are crushing the Globers now with their, shocking lack of evidence, and we're coming up with all these brilliant new ways of understanding our world, that they then want to try and not have anything to do with us. They want to now back away from it, because it seems like every time they come into a debate, they just get crushed so badly. And because Jose's is a debate platform, Flat Earther goes on there, and if they were allowed to speak openly and provide the proofs, the globe heads would just be destroyed every single time. It'd be a very poor show to be a globe Earth moderator. Am I right there?
Okay. But it's a hangout, isn't it? It's a hangout. Same as Fight the Flat Earth. It's just confirming bias.
But
well, it's one thing to
show when your side's getting destroyed.
Yeah, right. It's one thing to change your mind and decide that you're not a flat earther anymore and you're a baller. It's another to then become just another baller Borg and take on all the worst traits of the ballers. That's what just disgusts me.
Look, for me, I think Jose's, it's just a cash grab for him. He was part of Nathan's show. He was a flat earther. The whole, once you're flat, you never go back. I don't know how anybody can. But I think Jose's seen a chance to grab some money, and he knows the rhetoric from the ball side, so he plays the game. He's got his little following, his little, discipleship, and I personally, that's what I think it's about for him. He knows it's flat.
And he got his camera from Duran as well, so maybe he was playing a role all along. How much more insidious does that make him?
Nah, I do genuinely believe, because I see that, and Ranty probably did. He was actually outed. He was actually forced into that position, I reckon. He was outed as soon as he said, "No, I've been talking in Gem Panda server, and they've convinced me of something." It was, as opposed to welcoming him back. Let's say he got pushed out. He did get pushed out. I can't.
He was a fake from the outset, man. Come on.
Well, either way, from my opinion, he's not. He was not intending to start with the money. The money come as a secondary thing, I reckon.
No, he appeared out of the blue. He appeared out of the blue and had many very interesting observations, many of which proved the flat Earth right. But yeah, he got a prominent position on Nathan Oakley's show, where many of the minions start off, and no, it's all theater, and that guy knows well enough. And as I say, if he's making money, what does he get every day in super chats? $30, $40, $50? That adds up to a nice little bundle over the course of a month. He's selling out his fellow man for the sake of a few shekels. Well, fair play to him. He has me banned as well. That's fair enough. But I took it more seriously. You see, there's a war going on.
Hang on, wait a minute. Hold on, Pete. How many people does he have banned on the panel right now? Because we've got... Hang on, wait a minute. We've got Travis in here. Travis says he's banned. Gleam, Pete, anybody else? Brandon, you've been...
Yeah, I'm banned.
You're banned?
I just got banned the other day.
And right the hand...
actually banned me.
Hold on.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say that I believe that Jose has blocked me from his account, but I can make comments in the chat.
Okay, so
technically I'm not
well.
So wait a minute.
Well, you
might
might see your chats, but they might not show up.
So
half
of my regular panelists on the flat side are banned on Jose's. Right. Okay.
I'm unruly.
Okay.
I'm unruly and really out of order.
That seems fair.
Who have you banned from here, Ranty? Who have you banned?
Nobody. Well, there's I'd say nobody.
Yeah.
I'd say there's about 20 people blocked, but I would imagine that 18 of them are the same person. It's just a troll that just says the same shit.
Brenda's banned, right?
And Brenda, yeah.
So one.
That was the right decision.
Bring Brenda back.
Brenda's banned.
BBB, bring
Get
Brenda
rid of
back.
it.
Brenda's banned for life for what she did.
was back in spirit earlier when I said, "Where did the wheels go? Where did they
You
go?"
banned her for threatening to like bust your channel for that guy you had on, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
That is serious business. You can't risk that.
AJM says
I don't like his
he's
words, so
blocked
I'm
as
gonna
well.
get you in trouble.
AJM seems to be blocked there as well. Jose's. It's becoming a bit of a circle jerk there, Jose. To be fair, if you know, what I mean,
the exact thing he said he was against. You become what you hate, bro. I'm telling you. If you don't watch where you're going, you're going to become what you hate.
Can I ask
Right
a quick
hand.
question?
It's also and let me just say something real fast. Like that, they wouldn't even have a show without Flat Earth.
Well, that's the thing. We go over there and go on the show. That's the show because they've got it set up. The whole purpose is to ridicule us publicly, and that's the fun. The ballers love to do that, and they're one of the first stops during the day that anybody who's going to look into Flat Earth is going to stop and see us being ridiculed. They've set it up very cleverly to do that, and they keep Jose, nice and fat and happy.
Well, is Jose getting rid of the better debaters? Do you think?
I don't know. Possibly. I don't know what his strategy is.
I don't know, but I don't either. I'm just speculating here. Jose's in the chat. If he wants to jump on and tell us what his problem is,
Because it's like a pepper up his arse. As far as I'm concerned.
He's not about the truth. He's about the money. So he's got to cater to the money. And
Can't
the
you
truth,
talk about
right?
over at Jose's, right the hand? You can't mention 9/11 hoaxery. You can't mention the Corona hoax. It's all about the same arguments. Again, we learned the people who were put in place here by the people who are happy to have the same argument against the same customers again and again for years on end. Simple as that. Wise up, people. Applies to both sides, by the way.
So Dave Blake
is here.
Jose, one sec, Jose. So I'm just going to respond to Dave Blake here. He says, "Whose channel are we on, and why is all the talk about Jose's?" Right? It's talking about Jose's because my panelists before I went live, etc. Well, and also in the chats before privately, were telling me that they've been being banned from his show. Jose, you here? What's been going on, pal?
Yes, I go down the list. Glim had a timeout earlier. He called somebody like a child molester or something like that.
No,
Piche is banned, totally not allowed to go into the call ever because he threatened people. He say everybody should get their head chopped.
No, I didn't. Explain what I said properly,
okay.
Jose.
Brandon Toy, I blocked him because I got two more people. So Brandon Toy, you see, I'm already over talk and I haven't spoken 30 seconds.
Yeah, just he said he's going to go. He said he's going to go through the list. He said he was gonna, just a sec, Pete. He said he's going to go through the list, and then if anybody wants to any sort of come back at him after that, fair enough. So,
all right,
okay. So
all right, Brandon Toy, I blocked him on the chat. I think it was yesterday or the day before because he out of nowhere started because he didn't agree with somebody. He go like, whoever person, when did you start cross-dressing or dressing as a girl, as a woman, something like that?
Liar, Jose.
Now, after that, I block him totally. Right the hand, well, you heard him here because somebody called him a liar. He cannot take it and he called people pedophiles. I cannot allow a person just saying lies like that. So it's okay. It's completely. Now, Brandon Toy, I just block him in the chat. He cannot type, but he can join the show anytime he wants. Travis also. Travis got another sock account that he can use in the chat, and he can go into the show anytime he wants.
But why
questions?
Why is he blocked? Hold on, wait a minute. You have I've got a question. You've got
I'm still been waiting to ask a question. So
yeah, one sec.
Whenever you guys get around to me.
Okay, so you've got is it a boss thing over there that you can be a boss? Now, hadn't Travis paid like $100 or something to be a boss over there?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, big shout out to Travis. He's the boss.
Is he not banned in any way or penalized in any way?
No, he can join anytime he wants.
Yeah. That's why I said that I was able to make comments in the chat, but I believe that Jose can't see my comments because I've made comments to him and he doesn't respond. So I've always just thought, well, Jose's just blocked me, but I can make comments to people in the chat and I see them respond to me. So that's why I wanted to clarify that I am not banned. That's what I was trying to communicate.
Okay, so hang on, wait. What's Torjin Fu? You had something to say?
I was actually my brother's Bob, and so I was asking him in the game we're playing. So I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. You guys seem like generally nice people. If someone disagrees with you, like myself, on some of the topics,
You sound like
you're not.
Bogdol.
Yeah, yep, we're brothers. I'm not gonna get banned just because I disagree. I wouldn't assume I would. You all have been super nice and accommodating, right? I just wanted to let you know
Oh no,
that
they
I'm
let
someone who
on
disagrees
all
with
kinds
like
of
flat
things,
Earth.
all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
No, they let anybody on basically. Even when I think that they shouldn't let them on anymore because they've been really retarded about their stuff, he still lets them come back for some reason.
So let me just go back to Jose. So Jose, is it more to do with protecting the format of the show that you don't want any swearing and stuff like that? I mean, I just need to get to understand some
Yes.
stuff.
I don't like swearing from both sides. Yeah, whatsoever. Yeah.
I'd like to respond to what he said about me, Ranty, whenever you're done with your questioning.
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
Jose, you'll jump into Nathan's channel and call everyone motherfuckers. So how do you get off saying you don't want?
Yeah.
to
When was that? Don't people change? Don't people change every few a month? Maybe last month I had a different feel. I haven't been able to join the Nathan show for months because they got me blocked in the chat, in YouTube chat, and in the Discord. I'm 100% blocked in everything related to the Nathan show. I don't mess with them whatsoever.
Right, Brandon, you had something to ask Jose.
Yeah, I want to make a comment. So he said out of nowhere, I just jumped up and accused someone of being a cross-dresser. I think that's what you said, right, Jose?
Yeah, I don't remember the correct phrase, when he started dressing as a girl or something like that, yeah.
Here's what happened. So Professor Phil Bell asked myself and Chris Berry, when are you two going to stop pretending that you think the Earth is flat? Which I obviously took offense to because he's essentially saying that I'm a Poe and I'm going around lying. So he's calling me a liar. And that's an impossible question to answer. Like, when did you stop beating your wife? So I asked him an impossible question back, which was, when did you start cross-dressing? Obviously, I don't think Phil Bell is a cross-dresser, and even if he is, I don't give a shit. But it's an impossible question to answer to make a point that he's calling me a fucking liar. And I'm just supposed to sit there and take it. Did he ban Phil Bell for calling me a liar? No, because the ballers have immunity over there. It's a little game that they play called beat down the flat earthers and ridicule them in any way they can and make them look stupid. That's what your show's all about, Jose, and you fucking know
Thank you. Ranty have been in my show, and Ranty, honestly, he can answer. Have you been beat down? Have you been disrespected? Have you been run out of the show, Ranty? I mean, just people have seen when you've been there. You answer if you want to.
Well, I just want to say, is it okay to call somebody a liar on your show? That's okay. So
yes, it happens every day. It happens every day. Yes.
Okay, so personal attacks against a person is okay as long as you deem them to be okay.
It happens every day. Everybody call each other a liar. Never out of nowhere. Nobody call each other pedophile. Nobody call each other pedophile because that's unacceptable.
Okay, so calling somebody a liar is okay. In your world, it's okay to just baseless. Hang on. Okay, exactly. That's why you're a piece of shit. Because you think that it's okay to have a personal, you think it's okay for a baller to call me a liar. That's fine, perfectly fine. Personal attack, right? Personal attack had nothing to do with the conversation, had nothing to do with the topic. That's fine. But then I go, oh, I'm being personally attacked while I was talking about the topic. Well, you're a pedophile. That's what I think.
Can you call back liar? Can you call him liar back? No, it's unacceptable.
Why?
The accusation you made.
I didn't want to talk personally. He brought it. He told me personally what he thought about me. So he
because you're a snowflake. Because you're a snowflake.
No, you're a snowflake.
You are a snowflake.
No, you're a snowflake. I didn't get triggered. I called him a pedophile. So what?
Exactly, because you wanted to have the easy way out.
No, because I know you're a snowflake.
Yeah, right. They are accusing me. They are calling me that too. Because you begun. They are calling me that way too. Yeah.
You got offended like a snowflake, and you banned me because you're a snowflake. You got offended.
Randy gotta be careful because the same way that Brenda did, when she reports people, same thing can happen with Ridehan because many people got offended with the way. I mean, he's been calling people pedophile left and right, and that's not good. That's not fun.
They were not offended.
Let me finish.
They were not offended.
Let me finish. If you're gonna say what I said was so bad that you had to ban me, yeah, You're talking about
That's a
pedophilia.
very,
You're right.
very bad accusation. YouTube don't appreciate when people is called like that.
Apparently, you have the shit reputation, Jose. Apparently, your reputation is so shit that we got to talk about it.
Right. Well, let me just.
I live on your heads, rent free, rent free on your heads.
Hold on. I want to. I want to.
People call people liars.
Okay, so
You run pussy ranting.
let me offer you some advice, Jose. You can take it or not. It's up to you. It's your show. But you know, you've seen the way that what's happened over at Nathan's. You know, with the boycott that's happened over there, with the Globers not going in, and you've seen how things are very boring over there. Let's put it that way. And of course, your show's always been pretty hyper. You've had a lot of back and forth with a lot of flat earthers, a lot of Globers going at it head to head. It's been an interesting show and a format, but you're pushing away a lot of the better flat Earth debaters because
I am the best flat Earth debater myself.
Because of your stance.
I consider better than every single one of you together. I am better flat Earther than all of you together here.
So how are you going to debate flat Earth?
Jose,
there you go.
Jose, you have said numerous times that you are not a debater. Are you a debater?
Almost every day.
Aren't you?
I am a better flat Earther than all of you together. Boom.
Right. Listen. How are you gonna? If this continues down this path, eventually you're gonna run out of people to ban.
I'll debate them every single day. I'll be a flat Earther every single day for them. Oh, they're gonna have the work cut out for them.
Yeah, but then you'll just be.
And a lot of people will watch. Randy.
But then, where's the discussion? Where's the actual getting to speak to a real
me,
flat
and then
earther?
them will challenge
No,
my ridiculous claims. Yeah, that's it.
a real flat earther that comes in. You can't argue real flat Earth proofs, Jose. You can't argue real flat Earth proofs because you're not a flat earther.
But I can have better arguments than all of you together.
Name one scientist who suggests the Earth is flat, or could be.
Zero. I mean, Jose JG, of course.
Vera Rubin does. Look up Vera Rubin, Earth is flat on Google. It's in mainstream New York Times.
Jose, you told me the other day that
flat
the
earther
atmosphere
than you,
was
and I'm
like
not one.
Jello. You're not a good debater. You don't even understand your own.
Yeah,
fucking
and how did that react to that? And how will they react to that if I was the one making the claims and making them prove me wrong? How will they engage with that? Wouldn't that be interesting to see what they will say about it?
Yeah, then you and all your baller buddies can jerk off together and act. Baller.
If you're
Jose's so
projecting, huh? I don't do that. You're projecting, huh? That's what you like to do, Brandon.
Projectile jerking out.
Well, I meant circle jerk. It just came out wrong. But...
Yeah. Let's all hashtag boycott Jose. Let's all go to Cleary and Ranty and talk crap about Jose and let's.
You have nothing to offer anymore.
I have an open
just
panel. I invite
repetition.
people. People decide to join. Now I decided to join to just because I'm bored.
Yeah, So you're obviously not going to take my advice, then that's up to you. But I just see that if you want, this is what happened, over at Nathan's. And that's what I'm saying. If you want to go down that route, that's fine. But you don't actually get proper arguments from it. Just becomes a circle jerk over there.
Dude, I don't have to talk about flat Earth every single day. There's 1,000 topics that I can talk about now. Because as for today, we had Lemon Bear all day today. We had Chris Matt also today. We had Babs and Chris Matt also a few days ago. We getting people representing. If not, we will talk about different topics because there's a shitload of things we can talk about.
Well, that's fine. I mean, if you're gonna diversify and talk about other stuff, and not just be a flat Earth debate show, then
I don't have it. It's the Daily Boom. It's random topics. I have no flat Earth whatsoever. Any tag, anything about flat Earth on my show whatsoever.
Well, it's money spinning. It's all about money spinning and harboring liars. All these people that you entertain are proven liars again and again. And the individual out there has to decide what the nature of this arena actually is. If you haven't discerned who the people playing the roles are at this stage, I say it's very late in the game anyway.
So are you doing
What
it?
Don't worry,
motivates
guys.
me?
We'll
What
hear this
motivates
tape
me
again
in
tomorrow
part
when
is the
Jose plays it
racist
on
comments,
the show.
like from Mr. Xavier in the chat. That's what motivates me when people make racist claims and right the hand did. You don't even speak English. That motivates me and making more troll of what I am. So thank you guys. Keep feeding me. I keep living on your heads and rent free. Boom.
He's just
That's
There you
not
taking
go.
it to
racist,
You're
bro.
the
irrelevant,
show.
You
man.
cannot speak
Irrelevant.
English.
Hold on.
You have a.
He's gonna
I'm
play
not.
this
You
for
have
the
a very
show
thick accent.
tomorrow, and all his baller
You
board
can't
buddies
debate.
are gonna
Did he
pat
say
him
he
on the
lives? He
back
lives
You're
in
and
his
talk
house
about how
rent free
stupid they
on
are.
thanks to who? The people who contribute. That's mostly ballers, from what I can
No, he
tell.
lives in people's heads rent
Yeah,
free.
Pete. That's what Nathan said. Yeah.
Whose heads? I haven't even thought about the guy. Nothing to say.
Well,
All he had to say about me was I threatened to have people's heads off.
well. To be
What
honest,
a fucking stupid thing to
I brought
say.
him in because I know that my panelists here they're a little bit miffed off with him. But if he's not willing to change and listen, that's fair enough. It's his show. He can do what the hell he wants. But
Yeah, I'm changing for the best. Every single day the show gets better because it's less over talking, it's less insults, less swearing. And when somebody coming hot and I cannot control him, I said, dude, just live today. And when you're relaxed, you're not triggered, then come back. If they come and triggered and they keep doing it, and then they lose their shit and start calling people names out of nowhere or doxing people in the chat, I'm gonna get rid of them. Was 100%. They will not be in the chat or the call. I'm cleaning house. So yeah, I've been cleaning house since day one.
Suffer
There's no doubt
liars,
that
agents
You're going
of
to clean house
deception
until it's an
badly.
echo. You're going to clean house until it's an echo chamber and nobody interrupts because everybody's thinking the same thing, so they don't need to interrupt because they're all having the same brain board thought.
Where's Sean Hawkins? Where's Brenda? Are they part of my show? They're the
Bro,
first
they're
ones gone.
fucking bottom feeders, bro. Brenda, if you're proud of banning Brenda, Jose, the first that's if you start a show and you bring Brenda on, like, come on, Brenda's a fucking mental retard. And Sean Hawkins, you didn't ban him; he left. He left fucking the show because you booted him out of the
rage
thing
quit.
one
I
day.
made him rage quit because
So,
I
okay,
didn't
yeah,
allow
well,
his ways. I didn't allow the way he acted with people. He talked to people. He rage quit. I mean,
Can I just defend my bit
same
there?
thing you did, right? The hand.
Yeah, fair enough. Gleam, you've got something to say. Yeah, I know.
Just quick defending. I mean, I know it was a shoot from the hip, and I know that you're kind of backed in a corner here, Jose. But just to make you aware, I don't know whether you heard the reasoning that I gave, and I wasn't one of those people before the hangout today that was saying, "Oh, Jose this, Jose that." But if you look in the general chat, I've just posted evidence that Larry Letterho has trolled my kids. Now,
Did that happen on my channel, on my chat?
Yes. He come into my inbox and said "cute kids" in Facebook.
On my channel happened.
From your chat.
Now you're sending me
from
something
your
private.
chat.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'll put it in the general chat in Ranty server. Sorry, it was basically Wolfgang. You know Wolfgang Maxwell. Oh, sorry, no, it's not Maxwell. It's Wolfgang. Apologies. Wolfgang basically says you shouldn't bring kids up with trolling. That's super poor taste. And he says, I know it was. It was definitely ultra poor taste. So
I don't see him nothing. I see him apologize, but I don't see the context what you are accusing him of saying.
Ask him. Seriously, ask
him.
him.
No, I don't have to ask him. You got to present evidence if you're telling him to say something in my chat.
I just
No.
This is from your chat.
Posted in here. I don't see any insult to you here. I don't see anything talking about your children here from Laurie.
I know it was definitely an ultra poor taste.
Well, you didn't back up your claim then. Okay.
What, him admitting that he trolled my kids is not backing up my claim? Oh, well, you need more evidence, obviously.
Laurie admitting he trolled your kids. I got 2 comments of Laurie here. He doesn't mention your kids was in neither of these 2. Wolfgang does, but Wolfgang is not named Larry. Laurie.
Okay. So you need more evidence other than an admission from the actual guilty party. Do you want me to show you the inbox?
I hope when you play this on your show
well,
tomorrow.
either way, don't worry. I was
just
just trying to justify that I didn't actually call him a pedo. What I actually said is he was trolling my kids, and he's created a sock account, which I'll give you the name of in the chat.
How do you type that?
Tag what? Sorry.
How do you type the comment that I deleted? That I scroll up and say like, "Whoa, why did Glim type this?"
Did you see the evidence that I put? That was the thing. What did I say? There we go. I said he was trolling my kids, and you blocked me for it. You put me in
You say
timeout for it.
Laurie is a child molester or is a child molesting my
I
kids or
said
something like that.
no. I said he was trolling my kids, calling them cute kids. Pity they've got a stupid father like you. That's what you said. Cute kids. In a science
What did you
debate when we were
type that?
talking about Paolo. And at the end of the day, I've barred he's got Lebreca. That was one of his soccer accounts. Larry, they're all barred. And he just keeps on coming back. And that's why I've had to leave your channel. It's nothing personal against you. It's just that obviously the Globe Earthers have then reported me to you and said, oh, Gleam's accusing somebody of doing something. And you've took it as, oh, no, that's not on because he didn't do that. But he genuinely did do that. And he admits he does
And you got a
that
timeout
in
and
your chat.
you rage quit and you never came back and you say, Jose, read the comments, right?
Yeah, I didn't rage quit. I
You
waited
didn't say that.
until I waited until my timeout was up and posted you one last comment and said you didn't scroll up further enough because I showed you the evidence and showed him the evidence and
No,
he
you
admits
type.
it.
Why do you tell
He
me?
admits it
Why do
in
you
your
time me
chat.
out? I say you type this comment and I did.
No, seriously, it didn't happen like that. Go and read the comments again and you'll see.
Yeah,
You'll
I will
see.
today. I will today. I will. I mean, not today. Sometimes it takes 2 days for the chat
Yeah,
to come.
no emergency because I've had enough of it. Put it that way. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of being penalised for exposing somebody who goes around in a science debate personally trolling somebody's kids. So I mean that's cool if that's how I'm leaving it. So if you do want to look it up, you will see what, from my point of view. If you don't want to look it up, that's
That
cool.
was so early today. Tomorrow is a new day. Boom.
Yeah, he's still going to be trolling people's kids through your channel though. That's what I'm worried
If I
about.
see it, I will delete it. If I see it, I will delete it.
Cool. High five that.
You
Won't
know,
ban
he's
him
just
though. He
here to
gives too
troll
much
us and
money.
get content for his channel.
Laurie gives lots of super chats. He'll never ban him.
He hasn't
That's
banned
why
him for
we
over a year.
boycott.
I'd done this a year ago, or sorry, 6 months ago about, and I got the same thing. Just because I was highlighting that Laurie was trolling my kids. I get a timeout, and that's it. Can't speak anymore because you mentioned kids.
No. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button.
Anyone who's been here since 2016 knows that there's always been a place that harbors the Borg antagonists, many who are military agents, right? Agents of deception. There was the flat Earth debate discussions back in 2016, went on to Earth discussions. Then you had Gem Panda with the Discord. Jose is just the latest sort of stop on the pathway where they all collect and gather to, I guess, conspire together ultimately against the truth. All of these people are all official story boys, as they project anyway, across the board. And again, if we are in a war here, these people can be viewed as the enemy. What is the just punishment for crimes against humanity? Well,
hang on, Keith.
that's why I'm banned for saying that hanging, after a due process, if someone was found to be guilty of such crimes, I would say hanging is a just punishment, considering.
Well, to be honest, I mean, you know why? I think we all know why Jose's gone more to the Globe side, for sure, and and that's because
because the money's good.
Well, yeah, more support, more money, more people.
That's true. That's exactly true. And
maybe he's an agent, a Costa Rican agent. Costa Rica has a very unique role in terms of United States.
If you're on the,
if I know he used to work at a supermarket. Now he's retired from home with a YouTube channel.
Right.
So do the math.
That doesn't matter. All these things are possibilities.
Well, if you're on the fence, a bit like me, I'm sort of like in the middle. So you don't really get a huge lot of people definitively supporting you on one side or the other. But if you've got like Nathan's show, Nathan's absolutely 100% flat Earth, gives the Globers the fucking rollicking from hell, and now it looks like Jose's going on the other side now. So Jose's now going to be, I suspect, sort of like that same thing, where it's more to the Globe side because.
Yeah.
He'll be getting that support too. When you're in the middle, it's a bit hit and miss because people are just like, they don't really want to show the support too much. So it's probably why he's done that, And listen, if he's not working anymore, it's obviously working out for him, isn't it? Because he's got a new boss thing over there. Is it $100 or something for a boss? And I think he's got about 5 bosses over there or something. So yeah, he's making good money.
Nice little earner. Nathan Oakley made a living out of all of this. Nice little fucking earners for people, isn't it? Our lives here. No one's talking about the important things anymore. The Corona fucking hoax. We can't go around now without a mask, right? I mean, no one's talking about that anymore. No one's talking about 9/11. No one's talking about the media hoaxes. You know, it's all about the same thing. This is what Jose's show is about. It's the same as the shows back in Earth Discussions in 2015. The same 4 or 5 points, constantly regurgitated. And it's the same with the flat Earth shows as well.
But it's not that I would well, you say it's the first. It's 5 that are being discussed. But you think about how things have progressed in 5 years, Pete, from when it was first being discussed 5 years ago. You know, you think of the answers that Flat Earth had been able to bring to the globe for their rhetoric and turn it around on them in many ways and say, look, well, where's your proof? You know.
Well, that's the way it was always for me.
No. Well, no, I mean...
They have no better arguments now than they had back then.
Well, yeah, they haven't. Yeah, that's true. They haven't. And it's all just fairy tales. We know
that we got Bob Dole and George.
We as flat earthers, I understand that you're probably referring more so to housekeeping, Nathan Oakley. You were part of that crew for a long time. That's fair enough. These are sort of clinically put questions which are very, very difficult to answer. But as flat earthers, we should have known the answers to all of these things all along. We do.
Yeah,
we
can
did
we talk about
intrinsically.
people that are here, though?
I think. Am I speaking for most people here? I mean...
I just like to
maybe
speak
not.
about people that are here.
Maybe not. I don't know. It doesn't seem... Well, let me just say, it seems to me that, like Ali was talking about earlier on, maybe I shouldn't assume that people are doing a lot of thinking into what actually is, as opposed to being stuck on what actually isn't, which we long since know. Since we decided we're flat earthers, we know what isn't. So maybe I'm misreading intentions.
What were you saying then, Rob?
Should be.
Rob wanted something to say then. Rob Keane.
I didn't hear anyone.
Yeah, he tried chirping up then.
Off you go, Rob.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's you know, you are right. We argue about the same points, but if you remember back, 5 years ago, it was very difficult for flat earthers to make any progress with those arguments because it's taken 5 years to get to the point we're at now.
Who though? I mean, who are you speaking? And where are we at now is a good question.
Better than when we were 5 years ago.
Guess it's a sort of collective thing, but I mean, you you mentioned to me earlier on to think in year terms regarding all of these visual phenomena over distance, over water.
No,
that's what I was thinking back then. That's why I came up with the water layer to begin with.
Yeah, I asked you
it was almost a necessity
to consider, Pete. Consider the globe explanation back then was that it was the curve of the Earth. That's why you were seeing the reflection. So anything above, you're basically agreeing with them that it's on the water. Our argument is that it happens above the water in the atmosphere. And we've all seen this. Everybody that's done this research has seen this and been able to demonstrate it hundreds of times.
That's not their argument. They don't argue that
was their argument
on the water.
Yes, it was. If you go back 2 years ago, Pete, from 5 years ago to 2 years ago, their argument was when you see an inferior mirage, that was where the curvature of the Earth was, and that's where it started at that point, because that's where the reflection hit the top of the edge, and that's why you saw the reflection on the backside of it, and that's what they always said. That's the curve of the Earth. And in fact, that's why I started my research on inferior mirages for that particular point, because I was sick and tired of hearing them say it so many times that was where the curvature of the Earth started. I wanted to disprove that.
I guarantee you, right, if Rumpus came in right now, he would say it's the air that was always the cause of the inferior mirages, because I've quizzed him so many times what exactly in the air is causing a very sort of almost like a perfect mirror-like reflection. He'll just go, it's the air. And then remember I brought it back to water. Is it the water in the air? I think you might be wrong there.
You go back, you listen back to the debates, any debate beyond or prior to debate 500 on Nathan's show, or anything with Isa Mahalski when he was doing his shows?
But I don't need to go back because I'm fresh in my memory. Even on Jose's show relatively recently, I had this out with Rumpus. He calls the mirroring line the fold line, right? So you have the visible horizon,
Yeah, you've had it
then you have the ship
recently.
or whatever, then the fold line.
Yeah.
He attributes all of the mirroring to air. I'm positive of it.
Yeah, he does now. But if you look on my channel, you'll see that the research started about 2 years ago, and you see that the videos that I was putting out about these observations that proved that it was in the atmosphere, and then they suddenly changed their mind.
Man, how am I going to find that, first of all? And again, I've been arguing with the likes of the Rumpus since 2016. I know their position. They have the visible horizon as the geometric horizon. Anything that's happening beyond that is has to be explained in terms of the atmosphere. This is why I say ether band man and the official explanation are pretty much in lockstep. When we think about the horizon being chosen to be the dividing point, and then any of the anomalies explained via air or ether refraction. This is why there's such similarities there. That's what I've been saying. But if you can bring up an example there, Ranty, I'd like to hear it because I can't think of one.
An example of what? All the times that they said that the
inferior mirage is
was
caused by the water because they've always taken away the extended water surface.
No, that was their argument, Pete, and that's what fucking pissed me off.
Rumpus said to me, "There's no one on Earth talking about the mirrored water layer as you do, right?" So that's fair enough, man. But when it comes, so in other words, I explain the mirroring, the inferior mirage, as a mirror image along the surface of the water, and this is what he calls nonsense, and more nonsense again because I'm the only one talking about this. They never, unless you can produce an example, I'm going to stick to my position there, Ranty.
Okay, well, I'm not going to listen
Or
back
unless
to
Rumpus wants to come in and clarify it, or any other ball earther. And what about, there's a few ball earthers here. Rob Killen, our left path, isn't he a ball earther?
Well, I'm not going to listen back to those debates again because it took too long.
Well, me neither, right? So
those debates weren't an hour schedule, though. You know, if you think about it, I mean, I think back then they were basically 2 hours, 2.5 hours. They weren't scheduled for an hour, were they? I don't think so.
Well, what
or was it the after?
Nah, they kept on extending, didn't they? Oh, we'll be back in a minute, and he used to do the crossover, didn't he, into the after show?
Yeah, they seem to go on for hours.
But I remember that. I do remember Rumpus. Literally, it wasn't on the Wolney one. It was before that, I think, and he was there, literally just denying, and a lot of people have denied that refraction.
Liam is really low. I can barely hear him.
Oh, sorry, I'm away from the mic a bit. So a lot of them deny that even refraction can do it. And I've had this out with Erebus, and Erebus has gone out there and actually proved that refraction can hide stuff. He's hidden a whole bank of a pond just by moving his camera down. So I think there has been change in thought pattern and tactics, and I think it goes for both sides as well because both sides have learned. But I definitely do think there's massive progression.
Liam, while you're here, can I just mention about that image you posted along the road, right? The hot road, along the tarmac, and you can see the mirroring. Is that mirroring being caused by the road itself, Liam?
It's an inversion layer.
Do you think it's in the air itself, or is it the road itself that's reflecting, and we're seeing
it's the air,
the end result there?
It's the temperature differential between the hot tarmac rising steam, let's say, up, as well as the air temperature pushing down on it, and it's creating a flip, an inversion, and that's what creates the mirror.
It's not the road surface itself.
It's not the physical surface. No, it's just above the surface.
It's just above the surface, but it's along the surface, so it's sort of indistinguishable from the surface. So in other words, it's not the
have
air.
It without the surface. You wouldn't have it without the surface,
right?
But it's not the top of the surface. No, it's the
Excellent.
air above it. It's the air above it, similar to the ether band. I mean,
yeah,
I get where you're coming from, because I will say that when something reaches more than 89.98 degrees in angle, there will be reflection regardless. because you can
Yeah.
do this on looking over a glass of water. You can see
Excellent.
your ceiling if you look at it slightly perpendicular
Right.
to it. But
Right. And
the
yeah,
road
sorry, go
thing,
on.
the road thing is an atmosphere thing. If you can separate a physical surface reflection versus just above it, there is air that is mixing or doing something which is allowing a layer of mirroring to happen on top of the surface, but is not the surface. And that's why, I mean, tarmac is not reflective. So it would have to be something to do with the light being bent, let's say, through the
Right.
medium.
Listen, guys, I'm gonna wrap up soon. I don't want this show to go on for too long, just because it's been such a great show with what Brandon put out, and I was told that these 5 hour streams are not really, nobody really wants to listen to a 5 hour stream. A 3 hour stream, yeah, they can get away with that, I suppose. So I'm gonna do final thoughts. Oh, and by the way, the audience, everyone listening, give a thumbs up. A lot of my shows have been having a lot of thumbs down recently, so it would be cool if you've enjoyed the show at least. Just leave a thumbs up. It'd be nice to see that. Right. So, Travis, I'm going to go down the list and get some final thoughts from people. So, Travis, do you want to do some final thoughts there, bud?
Oh, just a great show, Ranty. I think Brandon did a fantastic presentation, and I would love for him to just be able to figure out how to maybe make a shorter version with some great analyses. But yeah, did a great job. Thanks, Randy.
No worries. Gleam?
Can only say that the massive respect to Brandon, literally doing it, showing it. Basically, proof of concept was on the tin, and that's exactly what you got. Yeah, it does not prove anything with absolute certainty, but what it does prove is that you can definitely hide stuff bottom up with a gradient, regardless. Thanks, Ranty. Salute. Everyone in the chat, get liking now.
Darwin, thank you for the super chat, $5 super chat. Just got here, 4 more hours. I am so sorry, Darwin, but you've missed a great show. Maybe listen back to it, and I'll be live again tomorrow, so you'll have to get in earlier. But cheers for the super chat anyway. Pete, final thoughts there, please.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. Just listen, Flat Earth was always just the beginning. The script is already written, and it's there for you, the individual, to come to read it. Don't get hung up on these minutiae, I would call it, but it's all part of the process. So yeah, that's all I have to say. So thanks.
Okay, no worries. Rob?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Pete knows some shit. Let's not beat up on Pete. And Brandon, great job. At least you're doing some shit. Ranty, great show. 4 more hours.
Cheers, Rob. Thank you. The real Bob Dole looks like he's on serving mute, or mute. Torjin Fu.
I didn't know we were live. Do you want me to, what did you want? A comment of what I thought?
Yeah, just a final thought. Yeah, just if there's anything you want to say.
I was only here for the last 20 minutes or so. Sounds like you guys are trying to work out how to moderate and how to make sure that your things are getting said without being too harsh. So I like that, especially someone who I think you guys call him a baller. That would be me. My brother, yeah, I don't think feels the same way as I do, so that's what's so interesting. But so far everyone seems to have a lot of different ideas, and I am glad I'm here to listen.
No worries. It'll be nice to see how you interact with with your brother and everybody else when we move things forward later this week. Maybe join the show a little bit earlier and get stuck in.
Can I just say respect to you for the respectful comment earlier? You're not approaching it as a traditional globe earther would, which is basically with ridicule.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that's why me and my brother have gone round and round. I definitely have major concerns with science, and the way science explains a lot of stuff. I definitely believe right now I like the idea of an electric universe. I'm open to ideas that science is getting wrong. I'm very mathematically inclined. It's pretty easy for me to do calculus. I'm very algebra background. I can visualize 3D space very, very well. And so I have some things that, like, I think when I view a globe and when I view a flat Earth, I'm looking into some of the ways that they explain some stuff that happened in 3D space, but I just don't like the current explanations of the flat Earth, and I like the current explanations. Not that I'm saying either one of them is provable, but I like the current explanation that the globe gives, or the ball gives, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, maybe join later this week. I'll be doing a show tomorrow, so if you want to hop on and we can maybe have a bit of a longer chat. Shame you didn't know we were live. Me and the 24,000 people that are listening right now, that's not too bad. You've introduced yourself to them. Oh, he's gone quiet now.
No, I went upstairs to get food. I got kids, so I mute myself when I move. But I don't mind. It doesn't bother me at all. I didn't know it. So
We're flat earthers. We're lucky to get 100 people.
Brandon Toy, your final thoughts there, please.
Yeah. Thanks for the compliments, guys. I really appreciate it. And thanks for letting me present on the show. I have been very obsessed with north-south plane flight and Coriolis. Otherwise, I would have had this information out sooner and I'd have a video prepared. But I'm going to spend the next couple of days, pull something together that's simple, quick, 3 to 5 minutes, hopefully, that can be shared. For now, we'll just have to deal with the presentation in Ranty's show. But I'll get something out there. And talk to you later. Great show, Randy. Thanks, man.
No worries. Cheers, Brandon. And finally, right the hand.
Yeah, great show, Ranty, and good job, Brandon. You got them. You did it so good they had to start denying their own experiments, right? That's what that's the point of a lot of this stuff is they're going to show their bending laser light and be like, oh, look, it bends down over the hill. And then they expect everybody, oh, okay, yeah. Then you come out with something else and then, oh, look at that. This other thing is happening. How do you explain that? And they're like, well, you can't use sugar water at all. So it's like, yeah, if that's what you want to go, it's fine. But you're double backing. So it makes you look like you were unsure in the first place when we never, you're like, okay, if this is what we're working with, we can work with that. And they can't do that. They can't work with whatever we give them. They got to work in their little confines. So yeah, I think they're falling apart, if you ask me.
Cheers. Right. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for everybody that stopped by, the panelists that joined, obviously, that made the show. Special thanks to Brandon Toy for doing his presentation, and hopefully that'll be some food for thought. So if you've got a comment for that, maybe leave it in the show afterwards. Perhaps watch it back, and if you do like it, I don't mind if you crop it out and re-upload it to your channel, because just make sure that you do link to Brandon Toy's channel though, if you do that. And give him the credit for the test that he performed. So, with that, I'll be back again tomorrow, and so I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.